Oh my God, it's starting. I'm in early. I'm requesting to speak. Too many requests have been spent. Oh, it's gonna break. Oh, if it breaks, I'm bricked up in anticipation of this bricking. Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait, dude. This is fire. Wait, is it audio only? Oh my God, it's gonna be audio only. Oh my God, I forgot they don't have. Oh my God, I forgot there's no visual. Oh my God. Oh, he's so bad. Oh, this is so sad, dude. Oh, this is so fucking sad. Holy shit. I requested to speak. It won't let me. Too many requests to speak have been sent. Please try again later. Who the fuck is Nabil Abi? Bro, stealing my fucking steez, dude. For the record, we can't even gamble for the crash because it's already crashing. It keeps going in between, in and out of details not available. You guys remember the DeSantis announcement? That shit was so awesome. In all seriousness, content aside, can we talk about the fact that the owner of the website with 200 million followers is allowing for this basically paid campaign stump event, but not Kamala's campaign? Wait, what do you mean? If you asked Elon, I'm sure he would say, yes, I would love to speak to Kamala Harris. As long as he says that, and it's going to be contentious anyway, and Kamala Harris is not going to do it anyway, it doesn't matter. You have to remember this. What Elon Musk is doing right here, by the way, is not that dissimilar from like Rupert Murdoch owning Fox News, right? Like the entire franchise and so many other right-wing outlets as well. Like billionaires have owned media operations, media empires in perpetuity. Elon Musk is just like trying to do it with Twitter and not doing a good job with it. You know what I mean? Especially because like Elon Musk is one, too online for his own good, and two, is I guess like ultra capitalist for his own good, where he's like running the fucking company into the ground. I'm gonna reply to him. I'm gonna say, sir, I have requested to speak on behalf of red-blooded patriotic kins, but the Elon Musk website won't let me. Insane they never learn from Ron DeSantis. Team Trump, this is the biggest interview in history, and now we're asking you to make the President Trump's biggest fundraising day ever. Before this interview is over, we're calling on, what is this? We're calling on 10 million patrons to donate any amount and proudly say, I stand with Trump. Spirit. Can I ask a dumb question? No such thing. No such thing as a dumb question, my friend. We are living in the dumbest of times. We are living in the best of times. We are the worst of times. But most importantly, we're living in the dumbest of times. How is this good for the Trump campaign? Any undecided voters are going to see this as a right-wing freak interviewing glazing Trump and not help swing their vote. I think that a lot of dumb people still think Elon Musk is awesome. I'll say that much. A lot less people now think Elon Musk is awesome, but there's still plenty of dumb people because the media for years and years glazed him as like a genius and a brilliant boy. So there's definitely still a lot of like average Joes that probably think that, Elon Musk is cool. I've never been one of those guys. I've been a fucking hater. I've been a hater of Elon for some time now. Oh yeah, biggest failure I've ever. Oh my God! Whoa! They're so bad. They're hot micing.
You could not have written a better, more poetic. Oh my God! Donald Trump is going to Elon Musk after this. Okay. Let's get down to it. Let's talk about Rhonda Stinky. We're back to the news. Little Rhonda announcing his campaign in like an hour, actually. We're going to be tuning into that when that happens. I like that Donald Trump's only competition is like, or at least the people that Donald Trump's only competition is 30 points away from him and is basically another cookie cutter carbon cutout of Donald Trump, but just.
But Elon Musk, though, he literally built rockets and dodge the top of the hour ads with a Twitch Prime subscription. Please stop promoting misinformation. Are you kidding me? You took advantage of my excitement for extra content, okay, that I did not even ask for, that I could not have even imagined. Extra content that has basically started already. The space is already breaking. It's already bricked. It cuts in and out. It says details not available over and over again. I am worried about refreshing this page. And it still says 44,000 in the space when we know there's probably more people in this space. And you fucked me. You fucked. Okay. Too many requests have been sent. Are you getting on the Trump Musk bingo? They're gonna talk about trans people for sure. What the fuck are we listening to? We're listening to the sweet melodic beats of Donald Trump's failure of a campaign. I'm so stoked, dude. Thank you so much. Old Trump ad. Oh yeah, remember the old Trump ad from the DeSantis space? Remember when he came out with that fucking heater, dude?
George, can you just wait while we...
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just speak to the
I don't think George knows how to use Twitter.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Can I please make my big announcement now? Everyone just...
Hello?
Just shut up, George.
Can somebody just mute George?
Dick, could you try not to cough on the...
So how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI, this is not a private call. This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in.
God damn it.
The devil.
Anyway, guys, we invited everyone to this Twitter space so Governor Ron DeSantis could...
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
You go, girl.
Wait, the devil is gay?
So what? Everyone in this call is gay. I happen to know every single one of you has a secret gay lover hidden in your closet.
Can we please just calm down?
So anyway, guys, I just wanted to announce that I'm...
Okay, I can hear the Governor Vela.
Shut up.
Would you please shut up already? I'm running for fucking president, okay?
Yeah, we kind of already knew about it.
Congratulations, Governor.
Well, that concludes our Twitter space for today. Thank you to all of our...
Hold your horses, Elon. The real president is going to say a few words. The devil, I'm going to kick your ass very soon. Hitler, you're already dead. Dick Cheney sounds like you'll be joining Hitler very soon. Klaus Schwab and George Soros, I'm putting both your asses in jail. And Ron DeSanctimonious can kiss my big, beautiful 2024 presidential ass. Trump 2024, baby. Let's go.
Remember that, dude? That shit was fire. That was a banger, dude. Now his fake ass is doing the same damn thing, not realizing. This music is so funny. Fake ass doing the same damn thing he rightfully ripped into. I'm only now getting more and more into politics, so forgive my ignorance. In regards to Kamala being a border czar, what exactly is the VP supposed to do to be better on immigration? Kamala Harris is cooked. The border situation was because the border czar thing was specifically because Joe Biden hated her. That's the only reason why she was border czar. And now it's coming back to haunt her because obviously as the border czar, she's not going to fucking deviate away from the administration. Sorry for burping into the mic. I know that Sean Hannity would never do that. This is funny. We have an unwanted immigrant in this state. Please advise at Greg Abbott at Drake. Drake is officially a resident of Texas. Port. I told you the real border we needed to be worrying about was not the southern border. Only libtards worry about the southern border. Real American patriots know the real border to be worried about is the northern border, brother. They're coming in. Definitely don't refresh. It won't load for me at all. Yeah, I know. That's why I came in early. So I could serve the sweet, juicy top of the hour ad break to you ahead of time before the fucking thing starts. Because in the next 3 minutes, you are not going to want to miss out a single moment, a single second of this delectable content. I was there up and early, baby. You already fucking know. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, Miss Valerie Chaos, thank you for the 5-tier gift of subs. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Oh yeah, I forgot that chatter cooked me. Oh shit, my bad. I did get cooked earlier. I forgot. I got cooked so hard, it caused my brain to forget about it. Daniel Art, thank you for the 20 gifted, allowing 20 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Baked Up Bot, thank you for the 5 gifted. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, ladies and gentlemen. Twitch Prime is free. It's a free way. It's a free way to no longer see the ads at the top of the freaking hour. Insane Monster 69, thank you for the 10 gifted. I think that there is a very high likelihood. Hasan 350Z, thank you for the 5-tier 1 gifted subs. I think there's a very high likelihood that this doesn't work at all, by the way. I'm not kidding. There's gonna be a new space. Be ready for that. Yeah. Chaos 1391, thank you for the 10 gifted. Oh, Elon's in. Request sent. Fuck, too many requests. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a listener. What is
engage
this?
with this technology to help guide its development in a way that maximizes its benefits while...
Are you guys stupid? You think this is a real fucking Tesla channel? Oh my God, people are so dumb. Bro, this is a crypto scam, you fucking dingus. How are you this online to be on my broadcast and you still haven't realized that most things that have Elon Musk on them, most live streams that have Elon Musk on them are crypto scams. 180,000 viewers are watching, by the way. Sucker born any minute. Your community is full of 80-year-olds getting scammed by Nigerian prisons in 2024. I agree. If you had one chance to ask him a question, what would you ask him? So many questions, dude. That's hard. I've never been faced with a decision like that, so I don't even know. I'd say, do that ass be farting? Probably. I'd fuck it up. Does it grip? Yeah, maybe. What'd that ass do? It's like asking a genie for more wishes. Oh! Do we have a Trump Elon bingo or not? Do we make one? We'll just do Gamba. You can gamble with your channel points by watching the channel. From Jack's Films. Weird mention. Elon sucks up to Trump. Weird trans or pronoun mention. Weird behavior. Trump doesn't answer the question. I like it. There is no way. By the way, right now, my space is, it's been steadily crashing since like for the past half hour that I've been in it. And there is absolutely no way that there's only 44,000 people in there. There's absolutely no way that there's only 100,000 people in there. There are probably so many people in there, but it is crashing. So we will perhaps never know what the real number is, which is hilarious. And I suspect that Donald Trump probably doesn't appreciate that it is also broken as well. Unable and crash is trending. Ain't working for anyone at the moment. Oh my God, I really hope that they don't like kick off a new call again. Oh dude, I'm so shameless. I'm gonna say, I got into the Elon X Trump space 30 minutes prior to knowing it would crash. Come listen along. Hell yeah, baby. Blast it, chat. Blast it, baby. Blast it. Shameless. Woo! God, I love content. At least the other stuff on the website is still working. You can't access the Trump Elon interview through Twitter. The YouTube link people keep sharing as an alternative appears to be a crypto scam. Great work all around. Yeah. Does it strike people as odd? Does it strike people as odd that everyone that wants to do crypto scams so frequently end up using Elon Musk to do that? Something to consider. That's because his fans are bawling, or because they're fucking stupid. And infinitely more likely. Isn't it kind of anti-free speech that the host gets to control who speaks at all times? The COPA started already? Oh my God. Chris LaCivita, effectively one of Trump's 2 campaign managers, just posted on X trying to frame this as Trump breaking the internet. DeSantis tried to do this too. Oh, it's the same fucking loser energy. Oh, that's so awesome. Twitter Spaces appears to be suffering a technical glitch before Trump's live conversation with Elon Musk. It's hard not to compare this to the last time Musk's platform was used for a major political moment when Governor Ron DeSantis tried to introduce his campaign on Twitter Spaces, but was met with interesting trending with bro, crashed, Elon, unable. I'm able to get on the space with my phone. The space said it has 117,000 listeners. No one has started speaking yet. The space for Donald Trump's event with Elon Musk is now live, but it appears it's glitching for users. Oh, I have another feed. Donald Trump's space, 222K in space. Also, by the way, what the fuck's this guy doing? You're Canadian, dog. You're Canadian. Stick to your own politics, all right? This America business, all right? How the fuck did he fail to ratio me? That's crazy. But yeah, the space now says 222K. Don't let him ratio me, chat. Keep pumping my reply. Not that it fucking matters. I'm shocked that he wasn't even able to ratio me to begin with. Considering that considering that he has a much larger presence, or used to. This must be a record number of viewers on Twitch. Wait, what? No, dude, not at all. Don't let him ratio me. It's like if Canada won a world war or something. We're not letting Canada win. Remember, they burned down our White House once. We won't let them do it again. Stay up there with your goddamn healthcare and your fucking... I don't even know. I guess healthcare is good enough, honestly. Holy shit. Are you on mobile? You can't speak on Twitter Space on desktop? Yes, you can. Why wouldn't I be able to? We're building a goddamn wall, brother. I suspect that the rest of Twitter will inevitably break as well, by the way, because fucking it's ass. It's a stupid ass fucking website. run by a stupid ass donkey. Someone is blackmailing Elon Musk. For your information, Elon Musk, if I don't get my account back, I'm sending your dealer's number to Grimes' mom. In case this sounds like a bluff, he lives in the art district and the number ends in 43. Wait, what? What the Tesla US channel has it? No, it doesn't. Shut up, dumbass. It does not. It's a crypto scam. God damn. It's already so fucking bunk. Wait, how do I... The page is accessing your microphone? How do I stop that? I'm a little worried. Dude, I'm feeling like I want to vote for Donald Trump now. This music has got me in the groove, dude. Maybe it's hypnosis. Have you thought about that? There ain't no way this ever goes live. We are now officially 17 minutes in. We are officially 17 minutes in. What if Ken Carson just started playing? Just a thought, in my opinion. If Ken Carson just started playing, I would vote for Donald Trump. New York Times live feed. We are trying every way possible to access the stream. By phone, desktop, in the app, in the browser. And most of us reporters are having trouble getting it to work. We are most likely not the only ones. It appears crypto scammers on other streaming platforms have tried to take advantage of the confusion on X by creating fake streams mimicking Musk's voice to persuade people to buy cryptocurrency. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, New York Times reporters, tune into the Hasanabi broadcast. You can watch it here, okay? Hey, don't worry about it. I got you, baby. I'm so glad. I knew how fucking unimaginably incompetent this dingus is. I knew this shit was gonna crash, so I was like, at least I'll be in there 30 minutes prior before the shit starts. I clicked on it as soon as the link was available. Elon is posting and claiming it's a DDoS attack. Oh, hell nah. There appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X. Working on shutting it down. Worst case, we will proceed with a smaller number of live listeners and post the conversation later. Oh, hell nah. Oh no, bro. How can you not foresee this? Isn't that trackable? People can verify this independently. Dog, it's not a massive direct denial of service attack. It's just that people are tuning in and your website is not capable of handling it. It's just people trying to get in, dumbass. But your website sucks. Yeah, I fucking called it. Oh no, dude. Or distributed denial of service, not direct. My bad. I'm not a nerd. Shut up. And neither is Elon, despite the fact that he tries to appear as a nerd. He doesn't know shit. What is this? Engineer in charge of X Spaces right now. Bro, stop posting. Everybody stop tweeting. The website can't handle it. Stop tweeting. The website can't handle it. It's gonna break the whole website. Stop tuning into the goddamn space. Stop it! Chat, don't do it! Everyone hold the line. Stand back, stand by. It's not actually on YouTube, man. Shut up. Yo, this is a jam though. I'm not even. Oh! It restarted. Dude, every time it stops, I get scared. Every time. Remember in the aftermath of every single thing that I said about the Discord, every single thing that I said about the Ron DeSantis failure still remains in this circumstance. Remember, websites are completely capable, normal websites are completely capable of handling this level of traffic, okay? Like eBay had 3.8 million live concurrent viewers, okay? YouTube does it on a daily basis. Fucking Kick was able to handle it because Twitch is their backend. They're using AWS on the backend. You cannot tell me that this is a competent human being running a real website, okay? I feel like at this point, Elon Musk is a secret Marxist operation to show as many people that is paying attention that billionaires are some of the most incompetent morons on the planet, and that he's also secretly trying to destroy every Republican, okay? It is crazy. He did this with Ron DeSantis and then didn't even, like, what did you do? Did you just pack it up and then never think about tweaking it? It makes no sense. Social, it appears Elon Musk and Donald Trump interview on X is being overwhelmed with listeners logging in. The last information we have heard is the interview should begin in less than 20 minutes. Thank you. We tested the system with 8 million concurrent listeners earlier today. It's so good. It's so perfect. It's so fucking perfect. Oh my God, I love it, dude. It's so stupid. Never fail, Republicans. Never fail. Elon blaming it on the Dems. Bro, stop tweeting and fix the website, you fucking animal. You goddamn ape. You fucking donkey. What are you doing? This man only has one speed. Fix the fucking website, stupid. He's like, oh no, I'm just gonna post through it. What the fuck? Murad? Bubba? Where? It's 8:30 ET right now. Wait, do I still get it? Do I still get access? Because I was in early? Get into the new space? There's a new space? Where? Bro, stop saying that you're in the new space. Be honest. Be for real right now. Be for real right now. Be for real. Your Elon X rant 5 minutes ago was flames, bro. It starts loosely with the eBay thing. No, he's just still posting this shit. You guys, bro. Fuck you guys. Yo, don't play with me right now. Don't play with me, dude. It's the one I'm in. It's this one. I'm in it already. Hold the line. Music is changing. Music is getting more dynamic. Maybe I'm losing my mind a little bit and it feels like I am. Request to speak? Yeah. Oh, I can't anymore. I refuse to give Mike perms. Breaking. Elon Musk says cyber attack on X derails Trump interview. Yeah, dude. Bro, this is a historic run that Trump is on. Look at this sequence of articles right now. Trump flew on a charter jet previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Trump in a fundraising email portrayed this live conversation with Elon Musk as an effort to bypass the mainstream media and take my message straight to the American people. But these technical problems are very clearly interfering with his ability to do so. Musk blamed a cyber attack known as Distributed Denial of Service Attack, or DDoS, for the glitches. DDoS attacks work by flooding servers with malicious traffic and knocking them offline. Worst case, we will proceed with a small number of live viewers and post the conversation later. The space is fluctuating wildly in the number of people who have joined. It currently sits at 200,000 listeners, even though no one is... Is he fapping? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. There is no way that this is how it starts. Oh my God. And he had to mute it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's jerking it. He's jerking his peanuts. He's jerking his peanuts. Huh. Where's the fucking... That's it? No audio? That's it? No audio. He's just going to keep it muted. Do you think he thinks he's currently not muted? Elon is no longer in the Twitter space. He left the space. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, this is amazing. This is literally amazing. Holy shit. I can't believe it, dude. This is actually amazing. That's crazy. This is so perfect. This is so perfect. Wait. Oh my God. What is the song that they're playing? Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm joking. I'm playing it. I just want to make sure, because I know there's like normies in here. There's probably boomers in here that are trying to make sense of what's going on. I'm the one who's playing Ken Carson. Please don't think that that is literally what's going on. There's going to be at least one New York Times journalist that is like very confused right now and writing up a storm being like, Trump unceremoniously started playing Ken Carson, a popular musician under the Playboy Cardi label. Elon joined again. Elon joined again. It's fixed. Elon is in. Whoa. No way. 2 in a row? Really, chat? Y'all are so dumb. 2 in a row? You fucking boomers. That was also me. I did that. That was the Short Lonely Love for You. We know that Trump listens to that, but like in private. You know what I mean? I'm so glad I live in the 21st century and this is how I get my news. Yeah. I did see the one where he said he's going to do a smaller space, which is this one. But as it stands, there's currently no audio whatsoever from the space. So I don't know. Fortnite D23 Disney event got more viewers. I doubt that there's only 963,000 people. I think there's probably a lot more people. It's just that the website's so bricked, we can't tell. Oh no, the Harris campaign is taunting Trump on his social media platform. True Social reposting the critical comments he made after DeSantis' campaign announcement was plagued by similar technical problems. That's the other part. It's loser shit to do this. And Ron DeSantis did this loser shit. And Trump rightfully fucking... Oh!
All right, hello everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed.
You're such a bitch.
As this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say, and I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. So and this is really aimed at open-minded, independent voters who
yeah, they're all
their mind.
Yeah, open-minded independent voters like Hitler Groiper 48.
So you can understand what
and every blue check mark crypto
just
guy.
like to have a conversation. So honored to Donald, great to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people. And it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And so we have to consider it an honor. But congratulations on breaking every record in the book tonight. That's great.
Well,
is he eating?
Well, I mean, maybe we could start off with, the assassination attempt, which was an incredible thing. And I have to say that, your actions after that assassination attempt were inspiring. Instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, the president of the United States represents America, and I think that America, that is strength under fire, and so that's a big, part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as.
It's such a dumb idea not to do this in video form. I know.
Having another term here is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Glazing.
Not pleasant. I have to be honest.
Glaze.
I said there was blood. I didn't know I had.
He's doing tricks on it.
Blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit.
A very bloody place.
But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think about.
because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was very, I guess you would say, surreal, but it wasn't surreal. I was telling somebody, you have instances like this, or like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation, and I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear.
Yeah.
And because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, bullets, get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly. And we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter. And so it hit.
Boo, we don't
hit me at
care.
an
We
angle
forgot
that
about it,
was,
old man. Nobody cares.
far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was,
Yeah.
for those
Split
people that
second.
don't believe in God, I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer. Now I'm more of a believer, I think. And a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect
Yeah.
angle. And all because I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart
I
even
mean,
more
maybe
now.
that's a sign,
It's an immigration sign.
Yeah, we
You
should get
highlighted
the
a
South
serious
African
issue.
immigrant out.
And
Yeah.
at that moment,
That's right.
the bullet missed your, hit your ear, but, missed your head. I mean,
Well, the amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration. And it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good. And after that, it was going to
Yeah.
be a disaster, no matter what way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey,
Yeah.
a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great trumper. He was a fantastic family and a fantastic man.
I
A friend
think
of
he
mine
sounds
came
like
up,
he has a lisp
Elon,
right
and
now
said, "I'd
because
like to
of
give
the
my
audio
family
compression
some
issues,
kind of
probably.
help." And I
Which,
said,
I mean, it
"Okay."
doesn't
He
play
said, "Do you
well
mind?" I said, "I
to
don't
a
mind
guy
at
like
all."
Trump
And
who
he wrote
cares
out a
about the
check for $1
optics.
billion, gave it to the wife, and
Yeah, see?
she said, "This is really nice,
Top end
but
is
I'd
fucked
rather
up
have my
because the audio
husband back,"
compression, it
which
does that
is
to
a
sibilance.
nice thing for
Sure.
somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great. And we raised a lot of
Yeah.
money for them and for two other gentlemen who are unbelievable people also. They were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to make it, and they did. The doctors in the Butler area, I tell you, they were incredible. They saved the two, and they were really hit tough, both of them equally. And we thought,
Yeah.
my first question was, because I heard bullets flying over me, and I said,
Ask
"How
his
many
name.
people were killed?" 'Cause we had
Elon,
a
ask his
massive
name right
crowd,
now.
a
Ask
tremendous
what the firefighter's name is right
thousands
now.
and thousands of people, and there was no land. I mean, there was
You will
just
be a
no
legend.
people.
If he asked,
How many people
he
have
would
been
never
killed?
do it,
Because I
but
knew there were other shots being fired,
Sure.
and they said, "We
no,
don't know
not just
yet,
his first
but some
name.
people have been badly hurt."
Full
And
name.
I
Full
have to
name.
give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper,
Yeah.
because he didn't know there was a problem. He's been extraordinary shot, obviously, and he didn't know there was a problem. And he was
Yeah.
able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away, I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was
Also,
130, but he was on the
Yeah.
it was pretty funny when he was like, "I'll never tell this story again. It's too
he saw
emotional."
the smoke and the flame from the gun.
That was one of my favorite gay Trump moments when he gets like all like, "I will never tell this story again."
Shot from very far away. And if he didn't do
Yeah.
that, Elon, he would have. If he would have, a lot of people, a lot more people could have been
Sure.
badly hurt and killed. So
Yeah,
I have to
absolutely.
take my hat off to him, because that's also a surreal. He's been with them for 23 years, and there's
Yeah.
never had
I
anything
mean,
like
dude,
this.
this is
And all of a sudden he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to
Sure.
act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun, very far away. I obviously has very good eyes. He's got very good vision, which I assume you have
Yeah.
to have in that
bro.
particular
He sounds
work. But he took
Absolutely.
aim very quickly, and it was approximately 5 seconds from long range,
Yeah.
one bullet. If that didn't happen,
Yeah.
because the shooter had a lot of bullets, he had a lot of cartridges up
Sure.
there with him, so could
Well,
have been very.
I mean, that's clearly, he was very competent in taking that shot to stop the attempted assassination. But I mean, there does seem to be, I mean, some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like, there's just no way that, like, how on earth does a shooter get on a roof 130 yards away? That seems crazy. I think most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen.
Well, I view it as two ways. There should have been nobody on the roof. There were people,
Yeah.
because there were so many tens of thousands of people there. There were people that were seeing him, and there was one woman with a red shirt and
Right.
Trump all over
I
it,
saw the video.
and she's screaming, "That guy's got a gun!" You saw it probably. There's
Yeah.
a
No, I
guy
saw
up
the
there with
videos.
a
I
gun.
mean, it's like, I guess, I mean, for my part, and I think probably many members of the public are wondering how the heck are, basically people wandering by it, pointing out there's a guy on the roof with a gun,
Yeah.
and they're seeing it, but somehow that's not being addressed. That does seem
Yeah,
crazy.
well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an idea, and then ultimately a man lifted himself up to the roof, could barely do it because he was pulling himself up, and
Yeah.
he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun at him, he thought he was probably going to get shot, but he was like pulling himself up, and because of that, he couldn't get to his gun, and he fell down. Actually, very badly hurt his leg, his ankle. I hear very badly, but
Okay.
he fell down. And he did, from what I understand, he did say there's a
Bro,
guy
still
up there
talking
with
about
a
this.
gun.
Move on, bro. Move
And
on.
the shooting started very quickly after that. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. He was supposed to be a very good shot.
Yeah.
My sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, a bad shot would hit that target almost every time. They said it's like in golf,
Yeah.
sinking a 2-foot putt.
Yeah. It's not a tough
No,
shot.
it's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had.
I think one thing that people fail to consider is that Trump actually performs really well in adversarial interviews because he gets like bitchy. And when it's a glaze sesh, and I've listened to so many Trump glaze sessions with Sean Hannity where he sucks them, like he gives him that good suck. It's very boring.
You had so many people. One of the miracles.
It comes across as like a very boring, low energy back and forth.
Draft control people showed us this. When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums at a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle. But everybody, and a lot of people get killed with those stampedes. We had more people than you'd have at, some of these matches or these games, and nobody left. You had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And you look at it as it was taking place, and normally they'd be running. They didn't leave. They saw that I was hurt. They saw a lot of blood, and they saw that I went down. And it's almost like they wanted to be with me. Well, out front, you had thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler, as far as the eye could see. And a lot of press, too. There were, many cameras on watching this. It's what made it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture of it. Here we have all these cameras shooting it. So, sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede.
Sure.
Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, I mean, I'll tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people because it's so different from what you heard. But so I was down, but the Secret Service guys, there were bullets flying right over my head. You could hear them go whizzing. And these guys came jumping on top of me, and a young lady, Kate, would jump. They moved so fast. And
You won bingo?
let me tell you, that took
Congratulations.
tremendous courage. Now, there was a lack of coordination. There was, obviously everybody understands that that building should have been covered. And
I mean,
that was
I
the
think
big
that,
thing.
I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the #1 spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like to pick like what is the favorite place? What if the goal is to assassinate? What's your favorite spot? That building. The
You're
roof of
right.
that building would be #1.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better location. It's like
No,
#1.
that would have been the spot. What people think
Yeah.
is when the local policeman, who, by the way, he really he did what he was supposed to do. He couldn't hold on any longer. And then when he got his head just peeking above, this guy standing there with a gun at his head. And when he fell down, again,
This is a
hurt his
good
ankle
take.
very badly, but he was making the calls. But what happened is the firing took place very soon.
This is a good take on the
what they
dynamic.
think
Elon
is
wants
that
Trump to
this
say
guy
this was a
ran to his
conspiracy by
side
the deep state or
with it
potentially
all
like
planned out with
DEI
the gun.
and was allowed to happen, but that's
He
not
ran
actually
to the
convenient for
side
Trump.
and
He
he
wants people to
started
think the killer was super
fast,
skilled and
maybe
survived
that's
nonetheless.
why
He's defending the cop who got scared by the kid on the roof.
missed. I mean,
Yeah, but
he
as you
got
say,
me, but
he
it
would have
could have
hit.
been
I mean,
a much
yeah,
bigger problem.
but he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. So, like, there was it was a very near
It
thing.
was a
So,
miracle. If I hadn't
um,
turned my head,
yeah,
I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you,
exactly.
I would not.
Yeah,
I would
well,
not be talking to you.
I mean, you can be from another realm, perhaps.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. We'd be talking from a
so,
different place. But it was a very terrible experience. The hospital, they did such a great job. The doctors were so good. Everybody was so good. There was, if knew, because people were hearing that, there was just a bad feeling that there was somebody was around. You know that story now. It's been pretty
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if somebody could have said, because they've oftentimes said, like there'd be a lightning storm or something, because I've done, I think, over 300. I think I did a lot more than that, but we did a lot. And oftentimes they'll say, sir, could you wait 10 minutes, please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something, right? And
yeah,
that happens
yeah,
often. And this
What?
would have been a perfect time for that to have happened, but it
yeah.
didn't get coordinated. That was the problem.
Well, it was your actions in the heat of fire, and like what I find admirable there was that you take bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual, or it is not. It's not a rehearsed action, and so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your under fire. And yeah, so
Thank you very
yeah,
much. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know, I felt I was good when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. And they wanted, they had everything there. They have a stretcher. I didn't like the stretcher. And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else
yeah,
because it was such a lot of blood. And they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, sir, you hit more than the ear. I said, nope, I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up. And so I got up. And the crowd didn't know what to think. I mean, this was so many people, and you could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think. And I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them
yeah,
know that. And they went wild. You see, after they didn't go wild when I
yeah,
got up because they didn't know, was I alive? You really couldn't tell. When I stood up before the hand, before the fist in the air, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and
Let me get
thrilled,
my
and the
shoes.
place went crazy.
Oh my
It was
God, this is
pretty
what he
amazing.
yeah.
looks like right
It
now.
was a
Well,
terrible thing, but
it was
really nice.
incredibly moving, yeah. And speaking of the slide that got you to turn,
He's
that
so fucking cute.
saved your life, really, was the illegal immigration
Right.
slide. Maybe this
That's right.
it's worth talking about that,
It
since
was.
it
You're
saved your
right.
life,
No,
basically.
the illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but it was. And I
I
had to
know
be at
that's
that
the.
exact angle.
I mean, that's
Is
the
my PFP on his screen?
saved
You know
immigration.
the
Go
incredible
ahead.
thing though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be exactly at that angle. But the
Yeah,
incredible thing is that
No.
the chart I used it less than 20% of the time. It was just a moment.
yeah,
It's always on my left, never my right, and it's always at the end of the
I
speech.
don't think so.
So here
yeah,
we have it. It's on the right, not the left.
No,
It's
it's
at the
not.
beginning, not the end. And even the people that put it up, they were unprepared, and they did a great job. They got it up immediately,
It's not.
fortunately. But I looked to the right, and the bullet came whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was amazing. But when you think of the odds of that, and
yeah, yeah,
that you wouldn't use it. Normally, I wouldn't have the thing, and then it would
yeah.
have been a very different story. It's much. I an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and I'm
Sure.
He
honored by
does.
it.
Trump has a
I'm
lisp.
honored by it.
Well,
Let's just start that. Trump actually has a lisp. He always has a body double.
What were you about to say about illegal immigration before you were rudely interrupted? With
Well,
the
I was
bullet?
going to say how good the numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler, and we're going to go
Great.
back in October. We're all set up, and we're
He's going back to
fantastic in
Butler. That's
It's a big-
crazy.
it's a great area. Great. These are incredible people. Like the three that, in the case of Corey, killed, and the other two. I got to know them a little bit, and the families are great. But we're going back to Butler. And I think I'll probably start by saying, as I was saying,
As you were
prior to
saying,
being
exactly.
so horribly
So,
interrupted.
yeah,
But
so rudely interrupted by an
yeah,
assassination attempt.
but no, but the chart,
Some people have no manners.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that in my last week, we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping. It was at the lowest. You've seen the chart. It's become quite a famous chart,
Yeah,
but that was the lowest
yeah.
point ever recorded. It was a really, I mean, I was very proud of those numbers. And then you see what happened with these people, Kamala and Joe. You see what happened. They just let it go. I had remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies that was so good. Guys like Tom Holman and Brandon Judd from Border Patrol. These are all people that they've been on television. They says the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks, catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it in Mexico. We had so many things. We had things where if many people in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, but we get you into the country. So we were setting literally records.
Why is he laughing?
And all I'm doing is showing that, and I use it sometimes,
Sure.
and in this case, I'm glad I used it. I can tell you that, but they were fantastic numbers. But I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be with that chart. That chart was.
You're weird, bro. You're a fucking weirdo. That's a weird ass thing to say.
Well, I mean,
You're running for president. What do you mean? You're gonna
to
sleep
say
with
that
a chart
you're
of the
in support
immigration numbers.
legal immigration, but that we need to.
Bro's weird
shut
as
down
hell,
illegal
dude.
immigration, and especially unvetted illegal
Yes.
immigration, because and
Dog,
that's not
Elon Musk was an illegal immigrant.
who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately
100%.
represent your position?
I say it
Okay.
very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked.
Yeah.
Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's
Yeah.
saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do it right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips.
Do I
said
think this
that
will have
months
any
ago.
noticeable effect on Trump's
by the way,
numbers?
they
Positive or
had
negative?
50
Negative.
You know, they had not only tax on
Negative is
tips,
negative.
but they
No
hired
positives.
88,000
Normal people are not on Twitter, chat.
Many of them were assigned to go get waitresses.
Most people are just going to talk about how shitty the interview was
on tips.
and how
They
it
have a
failed
policy. They had a
spectacularly.
policy. They were
Elon
really
Musk has
gonna
already
go after
murdered
you.
2 campaigns. He's
We're
about to
really
murder his
harassing
third.
people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said. I think it's terrible, and I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too. You hear
CNN
12
headline.
million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country. Many coming from
major
jails,
tech
from
problems.
prisons, from mental institutions, or a version of that is insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming not just from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Asia, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from countries that are stupidly and horribly bombing Israel October 7th. They're coming from all over the world. And you look at, it's so sad October 7th because it should have never happened.
Yeah.
It's so sad
Sure.
when you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But where you see it the best
Endeavor
is the border.
Game, thank you for the 10 gift the
Because
subs.
you have millions of people coming in a month, and then she gets up and she tries to pretend like she's going to do something. She had 3.5 years. And by the way, they have another 5 months that they can do something, but they won't do anything. It's all talk. She's
No.
incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something because he's not too good.
Hassan is
Yeah.
a
No,
bitch.
I think it is essential to have a secure border. I mean, you're really not a country unless you have a
Correct.
secure border.
A lot of
And
people have talked about how Trump
know,
doesn't know what an asylum seeker is
absolutely
and thinks
secure
it's an
elections.
insane
And
asylum.
so
And I'm
it's
beginning
just
to feel
essential to
like
have a
that is
real
the
border,
case.
or we can't function as a country, and our service, our essential services are being overwhelmed in a lot of cities. As we were talking about earlier, I think legal immigration process that is smooth and efficient and done well. And speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, I think one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? Who do you want on Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, we want let in people who are gonna be great contributors to our society and to our economy,
Right.
and and who do you want on the team? And it's not to say that, like in my opinion, actually,
Elon
I'd
was
say
an
like
illegal
probably
immigrant.
most of the illegal
Elon was
immigrants
an
actually
undocumented immigrant.
are actually good, hardworking people. That's my opinion. But are
Straight
not,
up.
and you just have this sort of adverse selection process. If somebody's if somebody's like in theft or robbery, I don't understand what's taken them so long to get here, because we're such a target-rich environment. I mean, why aren't more people who have a career in things coming here sooner? Because it's a piece of cake to go rob houses in LA or New York, compared to other parts of the world. And in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be arrested. It's insane.
It's right. I mean, what's happening with crime, and our
What?
police are so good, but not allowed to do their job. But I have to tell you, Elon, I
They're
hate
not.
to say it because it's such a downer to say it. I hate to say it.
Oh my
I
God.
hate it. But you have a lot of people that just shouldn't be. I think it's a much bigger number than you think. They're
I
allowing,
think you're
again,
right.
they're
Yeah.
allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had
Ain't
all of
no
them.
way.
As an example, Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. They're taking their drug dealers. They're taking, frankly, their prisoners. They're emptying out their prisons. They're taking their criminals, their murderers, their rapists, and they're
Yeah.
delivering them into
But
the.
that's what Castro did.
Yeah,
That
well, they did on a much smaller scale.
yeah.
You know, it was a much smaller
Yeah.
scale. But this is a massive scale because this is being done worldwide. But here's what's happening: crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. You know, this is migrant crime. This is
Bro,
crime
crime is down
that's
in
going to be.
America too,
And I saw it
dumbass. What the
today in
fuck
New
are you
York where
talking
somebody
about?
was knifed with a
Are we dumping our
raped
fucking
the
criminals to
girlfriend
other
of a
countries
man that
too? I mean,
stood
we
there
have done that in
watching
El
in New
Salvador.
York in one of the shelters and started
Sure.
pulling out the knives, and bad things happened today. But this is happening every day. These are rough people. These are people that are in jail for
Yeah.
murder and all sorts of things. And they're releasing them into our country. And they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people.
Yeah.
These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people. And what they're doing. And she's in charge of it because, now she's trying to say she
Sure.
had nothing to do with it. And she's such a liar because she was called the border czar the first day, and it was on the headlines of every newspaper. She's the border czar, and she never even went there. She went to one location, which had nothing to do with where the problem is. She went in and out, I
Right.
guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
had nothing to do where the problem
Yeah.
is. But she was
Well.
the
Well.
border czar, and people
Yeah. Yeah.
can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't really involved, and the whole thing is horrible. She was totally in charge. She could have shut the border down without him. He didn't know what he was doing anyway, so he wouldn't have even known
Yeah.
what happened. You could shut the border down; he
Yeah.
wouldn't even know the difference. But the
This is a good
fact is
line.
that she was
Not a bad
border
line.
czar.
Give him
But
credit for
if
that
you don't
one.
have to call her
Yes.
that. The fact is, you could just call her. She was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst
Right.
ever.
It's simply not working.
No, it's horrible.
Whether it's a question of of intention or competence. Either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have people streaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse.
The real issue is not the border, but the top of the hour ad break and avoiding the top of the hour ad break by subscribing. Many people don't want to know this. Many people don't want to do this. But at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, if you want an uninterrupted broadcast experience, you
I'm
gotta
like seeing this in
subscribe.
real time. I actually posted the video like just live.
Which you can do for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub. Twitch Primes are free,
made up or
folks.
real? And I'm just seeing people
Here's the 3-minute
stream
ad break
across
now.
the border. And I have to say, at least the people that I saw do not look friendly.
These
so
are
people
people-
Who do you
can
want to
look
win,
at my
Trump?
video
I'm
and
not
say,
sure
hey,
about your standpoint, but you
these
surely
people
must
look
have an
friendly. I
opinion.
don't look super friendly. So
These are people that Elon would not be the same man if he had to walk across the street and look these people in the eye. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are people that we don't want in our country. And, the caravans are coming in and they're putting, and who's doing this are the heads of the countries. And you would be doing it, and so would I. And everyone would say, oh, what a terrible thing to say. The fact is, it's brilliant for them because they're taking all of their bad people, really bad people. And I hate to say this, the reason the numbers are much bigger than you would think is they're also taking their non-productive people. Now, these aren't people that will kill you. We have enough of them. But these are people that are non-productive. They are just not productive. I mean, for whatever reason, they're not workers or they don't want to work or whatever. And these countries are getting rid of
You have two fucking spoiled billionaires coming from fucking multi-millionaire, billionaire parents talking about how like the random Guatemalan dude that crossed the fucking border, trekked for thousands of miles for pennies on the dollar is unproductive. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Walking over here, and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide.
Anyone that believes this narrative is the dumbest fucking rube and deserves to have all their money stolen by these fucking dipshits. Straight up.
Yeah, I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. If we have another 4 more
Like, we're literally on the website of a guy who is demonstrably an incompetent asshole who bricked the fucking website that was at least usable before.
3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't have a country left. Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, South America only. We think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, the 4. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. And I had to stay in Mexico.
Yeah, I think this is a super important point. Like people, it's like basically when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico.
No, Mexico less.
It's just the border. It's just the Mexico, but the people coming in, it's Earth, the Earth, and is only about 4 or 5% of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the US.
We're already overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed. You had to see the news tonight about New York, and I love that place. And what they're doing to it is horrible. What they're doing to it, and all they do is they try and focus on Trump. Okay, let's focus on Trump, who did nothing wrong. I complain about a rigged election. Elon, what's happened is unbelievable. You have from Africa. From the Congo, they're coming from the Congo, and 22 people came in from the Congo recently, and they're murderers, and they're dropped. They drop them. They take them out of jails, which is very expensive, to maintain the jails. Although they don't do much maintaining, I can tell you. But they take them out of jails, prisons. They take them out, and they bring them to the United States. They deposit them in the United States and say, "Don't ever come back, or you're going to be executed." And they don't want to come back. But they won't come back.
Sure.
But they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from South America.
Well,
They're coming from everywhere.
Basically.
And there are a lot of really bad ones.
It's just an everywhere on Earth thing, and it's just not possible for the United States to absorb everyone from even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible. So,
well, Elon, we're going to have to finish this up. We're going to have the largest deportation in history of this country, and we have no choice. Otherwise, we're going to have a country that what they've done to our country. Think of it with in Venezuela and in some of these other countries, crime is down 50, 60. And you would be the same. You
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you what, Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really jails. Are about 50% put into the United States. The same with other countries. Some
sure.
are at 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100% of it?
Yeah,
And they're doing it right now while this third-rate phony candidate. Don't forget, I beat Biden.
What?
He
What?
failed in the debate miserably. And, some
Oh,
people said, oh, gee, it's too bad. It's too bad he did so
he
badly.
did
He
the
did well
debate
in the debate.
because
The
he was
first
dead.
night they said, wow, one of the people at CNN said that was the greatest debate performance I've ever witnessed. And then 2 days later, they didn't talk about that. They just said he was bad. But that's okay. That's the way I get treated, and I don't mind that at all. What I can
Because
tell
you
you is
didn't
this:
beat him. He was
that
bad.
we
He was
cannot have a
dying.
Democrat. We cannot have her. She's incompetent.
Bro's
She's as
dunking
bad
on
as
a
Biden in a
fucking
different. Look, she
senile
hasn't
old
done an
man.
interview since this
yeah,
whole scam started. And say what you want. This
yeah,
was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice
yeah.
way or the
No,
hard way.
yeah. Not, I mean, they just took him out back behind the shed and basically shot him.
What they did
Biden.
with this guy,
So
and I'm no
yeah,
fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst in history. And one of the reasons he was so bad, first of all, the Israeli attack would have never happened. Russia would never have attacked Ukraine, and we'd have no inflation. And we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan mess, if you think of it.
well,
And we wouldn't have had
yeah,
Afghanistan. But we think of it,
well, yeah.
you take a few of those events away, and we have a different world. We would also have
No,
no
no, you're yeah.
inflation was caused by oil.
Yeah, no, no. I think you're making an excellent point here, which is that when other countries can, that are, are thinking about invading or doing things, when they're thinking about that, they're thinking about, okay, what's the American president going to do? They fear the American president, or is there someone they do not fear? And I think they would. They rightfully be. I mean, look at that the assassination. They're like, okay, President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like, but whereas I think people are not going to be, and they obviously have not been at all intimidated by Biden, and they certainly will not be intimidated by Kamala. And you have to really think of that in the context of global security. That's that if the American president is someone that evil dictators are scared of, that makes a huge difference to the security of the world.
So good relationship with Putin, despite the Russia hoax that lasted for over 2 years, just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Shifty Schiff, some just bad people, just sick people. Frankly, Schiff is a sick person. He's going to end up probably being a senator. It's hard to believe. The whole thing is hard to believe. But they put our country
He's
in
a
danger with
sick
that stuff
person.
too. They actually, when they make up stories, and you have to fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well. He respected me, and it's just one of those things. And we would talk a lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I shut down Nord Stream 2. That was the big oil pipeline, I think the biggest pipeline in the world going all over Europe. I shut it down. Biden came, and then they say
Yeah.
I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No, he actually said to me one time. He said, "If you're my friend, I'd hate to see you as an enemy." I shut down his
Wait,
pipeline,
what?
the biggest pipeline. They were looking at that to
Yeah.
fund, and this pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did, is he shut down. He shut down Keystone XL pipeline, which is our pipeline that would have employed 48,000 people, pipeline workers, shuts it down. That was, a massive job that Obama refused to allow. I allowed it in my first week because it was jobs and it moved oil. And by the way, in a much more environmentally friendly way. It's underground. It's not a truck that catches on fire or a train that catches on fire. But think of it. He shut down the XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline, shuts that down, and he approves the Russian pipeline,
It doesn't make any
right?
sense. It's inconsistent. Certainly, but I mean, I think it's just worth emphasizing to listeners the immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating or not intimidating, and how much that matters to global security, because there's some real tough characters out there, and if they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to do.
I know every one of
And
them.
that puts it puts the whole world in danger.
Elon, I know every one
It's
of
a
them,
big
and I
deal.
know them well. I know
Yeah.
Putin. I know President Xi. I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them. And let me tell you, people will say, oh, this is terrible. He said, I'm not saying anything good or bad. They're at the top of their game. They're tough. They're smart. They're vicious. And they're going to protect their country, whether they love their country. They probably do. It's just a different form of love, but they're going to protect their country. But these are tough people at the top of their game. And when they see a Kamala or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even believe it. They can't believe this happened. All the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you look at Israel, they're all waiting for an attack from Iran. Iran would not be attacking, believe me. You know, when I was there, and I say it with respect because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran, but they knew not to mess around. Iran was broke because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is. But if you buy oil from Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States. And I meant it. And they said, we'll pass. They didn't buy oil. Other countries, likewise.
Sure.
You want to buy, you're not doing business with the United States. And they were at a point where they had for Hamas, they had no money for Hezbollah, they had no money for any of these instruments of terror. And it was amazing. In fact, there were articles when I was leaving, which is hard to believe, actually, especially when you look at what's happened to our country. Our country is so bad right now. It's such a different place. We were respected. Think of it. 4 years ago, we were so respected to a point where when I said don't buy oil, they didn't buy oil, but they had no money, and Israel
Why
would
am I
have
so
never
quiet?
been attacked.
It's just like I'm in
Zero
utter
chance.
disbelief
And
of
again, I said to Vladimir
how
Putin,
similar
I said,
this
"Don't
is
do
to
it.
every fucking
You
Trump
can't do it,
ramble
Vladimir.
rant.
You
He's
bad
just
day.
literally
You
cooking up the
cannot do it."
same exact
And
fucking
I
nonsense.
told him things that what I do. And he said, no way. And I said, way.
Yeah, I'm quiet because my goats are
And you know, it's the
talking.
last time we ever had the conversation. He would not. I got along well with him. I hope to get along well with him again. You know, getting along well with them is
I
a
can't
good
believe
thing,
I
not
still
a
haven't
bad
gotten a
thing. I got
bingo.
along well with Kim Jong-un. When I met with President Obama just before entering, you know, it's a sort of a ritual. And I sat down with him and we talked. It was supposed to be for a very short period of time. It turned out to be a long period of time. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and, you know, all the different things.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I got a call.
Those were some epic tweets, by the way.
Yeah, they
Those
were,
like
they were epic
pretty-
everything. He said that he had a red button on his desk. I said, I have a red button on my desk too, but my red button is much bigger and my red button works. And then I called him Little Rocket Man of Little Rocket Man. Anyway, here's the bottom line. All of a sudden I got a call from him.
Bingo.
And they said they want to meet. They want to meet. We met,
Yeah.
as you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam.
Epic tweets.
And I got along with them great. We were in no danger. But President Obama,
It's because
thought
they
we were going
want-
to end up in a war, a nuclear war. And let me tell you, he's got a
so
lot of
true.
nuclear stuff
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
He's got plenty of nuclear. He can do plenty of damage. So
Yes, I mean it's because I mean people like Kim Jong Un, they respond to strength, not weakness.
Well,
and
he and I
if you
he and I
project
had a good
strength,
relationship.
you
Remember,
Yeah.
I met him and we walked onto his land. Nobody ever walked onto his land before. I walked onto. I wouldn't say. Let's bring up
cool.
Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were
99%
thrilled when I
Elon was
did that.
lying
I
about
walked
an
onto his
attack.
land, and it was.
Yeah,
it
the
was
rest
an-
working fine.
But we were not in danger with him because of me. You know, I always say that we have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside.
When
We
you
have
ask
some
the question,
really
I
bad
can't believe
people
there
in
are
our
people that
government.
would vote for this guy.
And
Yes,
people
dude.
that are
Think about the
controlling
worst
of
person
the
you've
people.
ever met
I mean, I
in your
mentioned
daily
names, but
interactions.
I really don't
Like
want to give
just
the
an
credit.
overall
But we have some really
repugnant,
bad- and I'll
awful
tell you
dude
this,
who's
that
just angry all the
Russia and
time.
China-
Why wouldn't he
if
vote for
you
this
have
guy?
a smart president, a president that gets it.
There's
we are
plenty
not
of
in
dog
danger
shit
from
people
those
out there who are like,
countries
yeah,
because
this
they
is
need us and
great.
they
Oh,
need our
I
help.
love him.
I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama and Biden and
Did you
Bush
see
to a
N
certain
React? He
forced
accidentally posted a
Russia
Jack tweet on it and deleted it
and
and then posted on the
China
correct account right
together.
after. Please tell me
And
you logged
if
it.
you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got, if you take a look, Iran and they have North Korea. That's, you know, they call it the axis of evil. In the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a modern day axis of evil. These are powerful countries, very heavy nuclear. which is the biggest threat.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 400 years. And you'll have more, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear warming, because we have 5 countries
What?
now that have significant nuclear power.
Said what?
And we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started forming
after nuclear
big
winter.
armies on the border with Ukraine, right? And I looked at that, and I thought he was doing that because Putin's a good negotiator. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the goes this low. He said things that were so stupid that war would have been happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite. Everything the opposite.
He's not running against Biden.
Many more people have been killed in Ukraine.
I think he forgot. He went back to his old speeches so hard. He's still
just
cooking
in the two
Biden,
armies,
dude.
you lost 500,000 people. And
Yeah.
you know, Ukraine's had a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw the article recently, and it's true. You don't hear the true story.
I suspect he forgot.
If you think about it, Russia's gone, you know, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. You know, they've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I could have stopped that. And a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that made it more prevalent. It was so bad that he was using the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us a war. He's going to cause us. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in a World War III right now for no reason whatsoever.
No, I think you're right. I think people underrate the risk of World War III. And it's just, you know, when you're looking at the risk of global thermonuclear warfare, it's game over for humanity. And, you know, it's something that people have, I think, after the end of the Cold War, people have become complacent about, but they actually have forgotten that there are currently a lot of nuclear missiles that have targeting parameters for the United States from other
100%.
countries.
And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to build an Iron Dome over us. You know, Israel has it. We're going to have the best Iron Dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. But we're going to have protection, because it just takes one maniac
Israel
to,
won't
you know,
let
start
us.
something.
Sir, we have to ask permission for Israel if we can use it or not.
Some other places have one that nobody even knows about, frankly. But
I'm not kidding. I think he thinks the Iron Dome is literally a dome.
You know, with all of that being said, to me,
there is a non-zero chance he thinks it's an actual dome.
But with
like
all of
in The
that being
Simpsons.
said, the election's coming up, and the people want to hear about
Like
the
this,
economy
he was the president.
and the fact that they can't buy
He has
groceries
to know we
because
have
of
like,
enough
defense
money to buy
systems
groceries.
already.
The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases. And this stupid administration allowed this to happen, and it's a shame. And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot. And we discussed the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, you think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on you.
No, they could not.
So they don't need
Wait,
Elon.
yeah, because he's sucking you. Like, yeah, I'm sure Kamala would love to do a fucking non-contentious, non-adversarial conversation with a random
somebody
billionaire
that
that
does
loves
this for a
her.
living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview. And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers. It's pretty sad.
Yes, absolutely.
But the big thing now is the economy, Elon. And as much as I mean, I view nuclear as the single most important thing, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't
I asked the
understand
Trump
that, but
campaign.
it doesn't have to. If I understand it,
Asked
all
the
you
Trump
need,
campaign why the
because
coup
if I was
attempted criminal
president,
former your ears checked
it's
out.
making them angry is what Kamala and
There's
Biden
no
have
way
allowed to happen to the
is that guy a
economy.
real Huffington
It's a
Post
disaster
correspondent?
with inflation. The
Because that's
inflation
crazy.
doesn't matter what you make. The inflation has eaten you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening, and we'll end that
Well, I
quickly.
think, a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far
God.
more than it brings in, that money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need
Shut
to
up,
have
nerd.
we need
Shut the
to
fuck up,
reduce our
nerd.
government spending. And I think we need like
Actually,
a
inflation
government
comes from
efficiency
government
commission
spending.
to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible?
Trump
Where is
also
it?
dumped boatloads during COVID. What the fuck do you mean? That would mean that it's Trump's fault that inflation is
Currently
happening.
adding, I think, $1
The
trillion
fuck?
to the deficit every
Dude, this is
roughly every 100
insane that
days.
Elon Musk talks about
And
government
you know,
spending.
the
Your
interest
entire
payments on
billionaire
national
status
debt
comes from
are now
government
exceed
spending.
the
You
deficit.
literally have never done
It's like on
a
the order of $1
singular
trillion.
endeavor that does not
And
require
it
billions
keeps
of
growing.
dollars of
Rebuilt
checks
our
being written to
military,
you.
largely rebuilt our
Literal
military,
fucking
did a
green
great job
energy
on it, which is
credits
so important. We had
kept
jets, we
Tesla
had fighters
afloat
that
in
were,
times when they were
and bombers
literally
that were
about to go
70
under.
years old, and
Oh
so
my
we did a
God!
great job in that. Then we, by the way, we gave 85 billion of it
Subsidies
back to
fueled
Afghanistan, if
the
you can believe
Tesla
it. We gave them
rise.
85.
Your
They're one of the
brother
largest
and
sellers of
and
military
yourself
equipment in the
built
world.
a
They're
fucking
selling what
solar
we gave
energy
them.
panel company again
That
with
was
government
one of the most
funds.
embarrassing in the
SpaceX
history of our
is
country.
a government
But
outsourced
if you
operation
think
off of
about,
NASA.
let's go back to the economy.
I hate this
We have to
motherfucker.
bring energy prices down. Energy started it. The price of gasoline. Now your
did
cars
not
don't
make
require
PayPal.
too
Shut the
much
fuck up.
gasoline, so you have a good, and you do make a great product. I have to say, I have to be honest with you.
Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the
Thank you.
gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your
No,
house
don't
and your
close
house.
that. It's too.
That has to come down.
Why?
It's gone up
Why?
100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that's down, and we're going to
Yeah.
drill, baby, drill. They stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because went back to the Trump policy. But if they won the day after they get in, this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable, wind and different things. You're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say,
Yeah.
AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So you're going to have to build. We're going to have to build a lot of energy if our China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're
Sure.
going to need a lot of
Well, I mean,
electricity. You're going to need tremendous
yeah.
electricity, like almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Sure. Well, just going, back to this, like this basic thing, which that people try to make it sound because it's not, but inflation is caused by government
Right.
overspending. Would you agree that we need to take a look at government
Yes.
spending and have perhaps a government efficiency commission that just tries to spending sensible and so the country lives within means, just like a
The
person does?
waste is incredible, and nobody
It
negotiates
is.
prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies, and they'll probably try and merge at some point. I mean, I went through it like Air Force, just a thing like Air Force One. One of the first documents they asked me to sign, a general walks in, sir, would you please sign this document? And what is it? Air Force One. That's with Boeing, which is basically two planes, two 747s. And the price was
Yeah.
$5.7 billion for two planes. Now they're
Wow.
highly sophisticated.
That's
They're
insane.
even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. I won't say what's on it, but they got a lot of stuff on it. Anyway, but it's 5.7.
That's a crazy
It's a
number.
crazy number, but I said, I'm not going to pay 5.7. I'm not going to do it. I said, who made the deal? Obama and his people. I said, well, then I know the deal's no good. I'm not going to do it. And over a course of about 4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint job, if you want to know the truth. But for the exact same plane, I saved one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you can reduce the price by that. But now what I do hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting big cost overruns, you know, because they see these dopey suckers in there and they'll end up getting some of the money back. But I shaved it by $1.6 billion for the exact same plan. And you can now take that and multiply that out times thousands of other
Exactly.
items. And
Multiply it by
yeah,
a zillion,
the
and yeah, yeah.
astronomical. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, if so, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'm happy to help out on
We
such a
can't have that.
commission.
We
I'd
got to
love
spend
it.
on Israel,
You're the
though.
greatest cutter. I mean, I
Both of
look
you
at
guys
what you
agree
do.
on
You
that.
walk in, you want to quit? They go on strike.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you
Oh,
are the
he's so
greatest. You would be
pro-labor.
very good.
Remember when
You
he
would
had
love it.
Sean
But you
O'Brien
know, if you
at the
look at
RNC?
Well, I'd be happy
yeah.
to
By
help
the way,
out.
congratulations. I
Yeah.
just looked at the number of people that are listening to you and I chat. We'll call it a chat. But
Yeah.
congratulations. This is very good. I mean, it's great. It's and you're an interesting character. You know, the new head of a place called Argentina, and he's a big, you
Malay's
know,
awesome.
he's great, and
Yeah.
he's a big MAGA fan. You know that he ran MAGA, and he took it to an extreme too. He ran on MAGA, and I hear he's doing really a terrific job.
Yeah, it's so terrific. 267%
Great
inflation in
again.
Argentina.
He came in, he bought a lot of hats, he brought everything, but he's doing a big job. He really cut. And I'm hearing
Yeah.
they're starting to do pretty well. Inflation's getting, you know, they had like
Yes, exactly.
2,000%. And they had inflation like not normal inflation. They had the real deal. But we're going to
Yeah.
have that pretty soon. I think we
Yeah.
have the worst inflation we've had in 100 years. They say it's 48. You believe it? I think we have the worst. They
Yeah.
don't include a lot of the items that should be included. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's just from government overspending and not spending taxpayer money
Yeah.
effectively, and just like so many departments, you can't even name them all. What Malay is doing is, you know, he's cutting, spending, he's simplifying things, he's having, putting in regulations that make sense, and we're Argentina overnight is experiencing a giant improvement
That's
in
right.
prosperity, but it's also the United States, which is that Argentina used to be one of the most prosperous countries in the world, you know,
Right.
in the 30s, 40s, and because of bad government policy, it ruined the country. And if Venezuela, for example, Venezuela should be incredibly prosperous. They have, you know, phenomenal reserves of everything, oil,
Yeah,
everything, and
Trump
it
literally
should be
hardened the
prosperous.
sanctions
But
on
the government
Venezuela. He's the
policy,
reason why
it
they're fucking
impoverishes the
collapsing.
people. And so I think should not be complacent in the United States and thinking that and taking our
What
prosperity
the
for
fuck?
granted, because if with bad government policy, we can run the country into the ground. And that's just something people should bear in mind. Don't take prosperity for granted.
Well, think of education. So we're at the bottom of every list of the top 40. We're ranked number 38. Uh, Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, different countries are ranked good. Actually,
Huh.
China's pretty
I
close to
wonder
the
why.
top 7. But
I
we're ranked
wonder
at the bottom,
why.
almost at the bottom, 38, 39, 40.
I fucking
In other
hate
words,
these
horrible.
demons. They're
And yet
literally
we spend
advocating
more
against
per
policies
pupil than
right
any other
now.
country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where
Yeah.
where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho,
That's
you know,
insane.
not every
That's
state will do
he's
great
literally
because states
arguing.
that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the
Yeah.
50, I
This
would bet
motherfucker's like,
that
I hate Project
35 would
2025,
be
but also abolish
great,
the Department of
and
Education.
15
Yeah.
of them, 20 of them will be as good as
He
Norway. You know,
hates Project
Norway's
2025,
considered
by the way.
great.
Remember?
You can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of
Yeah.
these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these run states, you know, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no
California has
debt.
a surplus.
Everybody working. You know, they're really well
California
run.
literally has.
Maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of, you know, the land or the sun. the sun and the water and the whole thing. You know, there are a lot of advantages that some people have. But you moved education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation.
Yeah,
But if you think
well,
about it,
yeah,
you'll have some
yeah,
of
yeah,
these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what it'll cost? Less than
yeah,
half what it is in Washington. And
yeah.
these people don't care
Well,
about the
yeah,
students in these, faraway states. And it'd
well,
be unbelievable.
yeah. I think you're making a good point in that if the states have to, if each state has to compete against other states, then people will
That's
naturally
right.
move to it's better.
Well, like
Um,
California, as we said, it's a badly run state. I got so many friends that are in those states, even the Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser. But
yeah,
but some of these places are just badly run. But going to force them to run better, and they will do good at initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And I would say that
yeah,
the cost you would cut your cost by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little
yeah, yeah,
monitor. You want to make sure they're teaching English as an example. Give us a
yeah.
little English, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right?
No, but I mean, to what? Some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much U-Haul
It's
sales.
actually
It's just
amazing.
people out,
Isn't it amazing to you as a businessman that they can even survive? Like Illinois, so many people are leaving, and you wonder, how do they survive? I mean, how do they survive? I saw where you left California and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job. But,
Yeah,
I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left California, as you know, and they moved to Texas. How do these big states survive when they lose so many businesses and their taxes are already really high? The taxes are among the highest
yeah.
taxes. You almost wonder, how do they continue on? And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job in their crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just go on? It's not. It's
Well,
I like
not.
the
I
idea of
think there's.
simultaneously being like, these governors fucking
I
suck,
think
and
the
also
thing
they
that
should
the
handle
only
the
thing that's going to
education,
force some of
not
these
the
is they risk
Department of
bankruptcy
Education.
and they're not getting bailed out by the federal
Right,
government.
right. Well,
That's
you're
the
going to
only thing
have
that's going to
that.
get them.
You remember the
Yeah,
area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and they stole a lot of money, and they went into a form of chapter, and it was very
yeah,
nasty for
yeah.
a period of time. But now it's probably the most popular place in all of California. So at some point, something like that may have to happen. But the problem is, you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and then he ends up being governor of Illinois. So what is he going to be? Is he going to be a great governor? And you have people. I could name every one of them. I got to know every one of
Yep.
these, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
Well, I think that the larger point here, too, as you're saying, like a lot of people are concerned about the economy. A lot of people are concerned about inflation, and inflation is effectively a tax on people that money
Yeah.
and for people that are working day to
Keep
day.
Pritzker's name out of your mouth.
It's just a
Real big boy
taxation.
and a real billionaire. You fucking
And if
asshole.
we can solve the government spending problem, we'll solve the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living, and
Yeah.
that's a really
Piece of
big
Well, the
deal.
shit.
people that got hurt
Um,
worst are the people that did it the way they were taught to do it all through,
That's my real
their
goal.
younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money and then they got no interest on their money, and inflation destroyed them. And frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated, and we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get the prices down. When I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago,
sure.
when you look at some of the food in grocery stores,
Donald
people
Trump has
know they
never
can't live.
purchased
They
food
used to be
at the
able to hold court, and today,
like he's
a
never.
lot of people just
I don't think in his entire
have
life.
the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at
Yeah.
it's
Can you
sticker shock.
imagine
They
walking
call
into
it
a fucking
sticker shock, right?
Publix? Like just
I
walking
think it really
casually
just
into a
comes- it really
Publix
just comes down to
before he
I
became
think
president.
really two things, which is that if you solve government overspending, you solve inflation, which improves living
Right.
standards of the average person, and then if you deregulate, like have sensible regulations, So because a lot of the are nonsensical and cost to be extreme for no reason, and but unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had
The absolute dumbest people on the planet are listening to this interview and are going to be repeating these like basic fucking idiotic pro-capitalist fallacies over and over again.
Well, Elon,
those two things, yeah, those are the big deals.
We set a record. We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all
like deregulation. I wonder why 2 billionaires have a good idea of deregulation. I wonder how that will help the average person.
Radical cuts on all of that, and a lot of that's being put back by this administration. And we did radical cuts on things.
The fucking Chevron deference getting gutted has caused the U.S. Navy to deny that they are actually polluting the water with forever chemicals, PFAS. That literally was an article that came out yesterday or something.
On economy, good marks on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many different things. We rebuilt. But, you know, I never got the credit that we really deserved on what we did with COVID. We never got the credit. But had that not happened, a gift from China, from Wuhan, came in from Wuhan, the Wuhan labs, and I always said it, and it turned out to be right. But had that not happened, we were set to start reducing debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. I gave the cuts, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle-income people, not only businesses. But we did it for businesses because they're the ones that's why we had the great job numbers. But we were set to really start reducing debt. And, you know, we're sitting on the biggest pile of liquid gold anywhere in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. And we were going to drill, and we were going to make so much money. We were going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the Russian pipeline, and we were going to supply them with oil and gas. We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came in, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, you know, we kept a lot of. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type depression. But the problem is when Biden came in, he got trillions of dollars and just started spending it stupidly. You didn't need it anymore. You know, we got over that bad period where everybody was dying and feeling, you know, it was just not a good period. Interestingly, you know, during his administration, many more people died during his COVID than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for, you know, almost 3 years. We had the great, and you know that probably better than anybody. So many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in business were during the Trump years, and also said that African American, Hispanic American were so incredible.
There's something really funny about
Asian American women, men.
There's something really funny about Trump denying climate change
from the best colleges.
To Elon Musk, who's supposed to be a
MIT,
champion of climate justice.
From all of the great colleges.
He's talking about drill, baby, drill, and oil pipelines to Elon Musk, who is like an EV evangelist.
Everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and we had the problem is they spent trillions and trillions of dollars. They wasted. They shouldn't have taken any money, and we were having inflation right now, which is killing our country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I should probably say something about, like, you know, maybe my views on, you know, climate change and gas, because I think I'm probably different from what most people would assume, because my views are actually pretty, I think, moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving. And
He's
the economy
such a
would collapse.
bitch, dude.
So it's, you know, I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry.
He's such a bitch.
And I, you know, the world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other countries. And it would help with prosperity in the U.S.
Bro is literally fucking 3 minutes away from EVs are gay. Actually, I hate people who drive EVs. They are obviously homosexual Marxists. We should stop the production of electric vehicles.
It's not infinite. And there is some risk. I think the risk is not as high as you know, a lot of people say with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, eventually it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. People don't realize this. If you go past 1,000 parts per million of CO2, you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So I mean, it still gives us. So what it means is like we still have quite a bit of time, but so there's not like we don't need to rush, and we don't need to like stop farmers from farming or prevent people from having steaks or
Right.
basics like that. Like you can leave the farmers alone.
I agree.
in
How
my
crazy
opinion.
is that? Where
I mean,
you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore and to get rid of their cattle, and the
What?
whole world is
yeah,
a
that's
little
silly.
crazy. But it's largely taken its lead from us. I do say though, I've heard in terms of the fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car. Fossil fuel is what really creates that at the generating plants. And, so you sort of can't get away from it at this moment. I mean, someday you might be able to, but I do hear we have anywhere from 100 to 500 years left. Much of it hasn't even been found yet.
Yeah.
But there are tremendous, like Anwar. I got Anwar in Alaska approved. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it.
Bro, I'm not
Everybody tried.
kidding.
Nobody
Like,
could do it. I got it
if there
approved.
were normal, if this was a normal market, responsive to the key man, openly fucking like glazing an antagonistic industry that it's like choosing to destroy Elon Musk and Tesla, Tesla stocks would be in the fucking pooper. But it is not a normal market. It does not respond to normal market factors. It is completely out of whack.
And I'll get it going very quickly because not
But
only
can
is
you
it
imagine?
big for Alaska, I mean, you talk about economic development, that for the United States, I mean, that is, they say bigger than Saudi Arabia or the same
You look
size.
extra pale and make
And
me stress too much. I
pure,
look extra
really
pale.
good stuff. And, they end it. So I think we have, perhaps hundreds of years left. Nobody really knows. But during that time, something
my
will
estimate,
come around that will be
yeah,
very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my estimate would be, a little more aggressive than that, but it's not the sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. Um, but I mean, my view is like if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates, if you start going from 2 or 3
Right.
to say 5, and there may be some situations where you get a step change increase in the CO2, and I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 ppm because like that's actually makes it uncomfortable to breathe. Like just ppm CO2 is uncomfortable. That's like
Trump
that's
does
considered
not
like an industrial
understand
hazard,
this
right?
gay nerd shit that you're talking about. He's
The-
like, what are you
that's
saying?
actually you start getting headaches and stuff. So
Are you a
even without
queer
global warming,
radical
it's
Marxist?
not comfortable to live. So you don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we've got. I think we want to just over like.
I just want to know what Trump
if
looks
I don't
like
know,
right
50
now.
to
I want to
100
look.
years
I
from
want
now,
to so bad.
we're I don't know, mostly sustainable. I think that'll probably be okay. So it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think
I
it
like
is
the
something
idea that
we
we
need
should
to move
get to
towards.
a
And on
we'd keep
on
fracking
balance,
and
really
the
better to
air is
move
not breathable, as though the
there
entire
faster than
global
slower.
eco won't
But like I said,
collapse
without
like
oil
a
and gas
century
industry,
to get to that point.
and without
What the fuck are you
causing
saying,
hardship in the
dumbass?
short term, I think this can be done without but people can still have a steak and
Yeah,
they can
that's the
still
problem when the air
drive
becomes
gasoline
toxic
cars
to
and
breathe.
it's okay. It's like it's not. I don't think we should vilify people for it, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability. And I actually think solar is going to be a majority of Earth's energy generation in the future, and it's certainly trending that way. And so you get the solar power, combine that with batteries, so
Yeah.
because obviously the sun doesn't shine at night, and then you use that to charge the electric cars, and you have a long-term solution. And that's what Tesla's trying to move towards, and I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard. But when you look at our cars,
He sounds
we
like
don't
such a
believe
bitch when trying
that
to defend this
environmentalism,
position.
that caring about the environment should mean that you have to suffer. So we make sure our cars are beautiful, that they drive well, that they're fast, they're sexy, and they're cool. In fact, literally, I mean, the sexy joke, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells
Oh,
out
it's
sexy. It's probably the most
gross.
expensive joke out
Him
there.
saying sexy makes me want to die.
But I don't know. I like
Oha.
cheesy humor,
Bir
So,
tane kurabiye yediğine kadar 3'e
and
böldüm.
but I'm not. I'm a big fan of like let's have an inspiring future, and
Yeah.
let's work towards
Buna
a better future, and do so with
Right.
people.
I'm okay.
You know.
You know, it's very interesting. You use the word global warming, and today they use the climate change because you have some places that go up and stuff. So they were getting themselves in a little
Dude,
trouble
Trump is
with
not going to
the
agree
word
with you
global
on this. What
warming
the
because not
fuck?
every place is warming. Some places are going the opposite direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure you'll be the first, but it would seem that a solar panel on the roofs, on flat surfaces, on certain surfaces might be good,
Yeah.
at least in certain areas of the country where you have the world
Sure.
where you have the sun. But I would think, and I have no idea because that's not my world, but I would think this would be something that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't understand is that people talk about global warming or they talk about climate change, but they never talk about nuclear warming. And to me,
What?
Sure.
that's an immediate problem because you have,
What?
as I said, 5 countries where you have major nuclear, and probably some others are getting there, and that's very dangerous. That's where you need a strong American president because you don't want to have the proliferation. But you have 5 countries and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia and us are number 1, and I mean, we're sort of tied. And China is far behind, but they're developing at a level that you're not surprised to hear very fast. They'll end up catching up, maybe even
Yeah.
surpassing. But to me, the biggest
Yeah.
problem is not climate change. It's not, and everything's
The
but it's
biggest
degrees.
problem is not
To me,
climate
the big
change, it's
problem is the
nukes.
nuclear power. The power of nuclear is so great.
Wait,
And when I talk, I'll
Nuclear power
prevent
is
world,
underrated. It's
I'll
awesome.
prevent World War
wait, is he
Yeah.
III.
saying like,
I
is he
will,
saying
but
nukes
the
as in
truth
like
is
weapons
that
or nuclear
you have
power
to, because
plants?
this is no longer army tanks going back and forth each other. This is
Yeah.
a level of
Like, I feel
destruction
like
and
he's
power
playing fast and
that
loose
nobody's
between
ever seen
nuclear
before.
power and like nuclear power plants and then weapons.
There's the bad side of
I
nuclear,
think he
which is
means
nuclear
weapons,
war, very bad
but then
side. But
he like
there's
angles it in a
also, I
way
think,
where, like, does he
nuclear
think power plants
electricity
also have
generation is
Absolutely.
nuclear weapons
underrated.
You're
in them
right.
or something?
And it's actually, people have this fear of
Like, it
nuclear
doesn't.
nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. Um, and if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I mean, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining
Right.
operation. And there's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done.
Yeah.
So that
Maybe
We
they'll
should
have to
we should
change some.
deregulate nuclear power plants.
There are some areas like
yeah, it's a rough
when
name.
you see what happened in
Good bad
right.
branding. The
We'll have to
branding's rough.
rebrand it. We'll give it a good name. We'll name it after
We
you or
should
something.
definitely deregulate
No,
nuclear power. That's the
it has a
one thing we
branding
should
problem. When
definitely
you see what
do.
happened,
It does have a branding problem.
when you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where they, there's a lot of bad things happened,
Wait,
and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You're pretty bad,
No, that's not true.
but you're
Well,
right
no,
about it. It's amazing.
it's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, like people were asking me in California, are we worried about a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's actually it's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. And I donated
Trump thinks he's insane, by the way.
a solar
He's
powered
right.
system
He's
for a
not
water treatment
wrong.
plant.
But I don't
And
think
Yeah,
Trump
but you haven't been
understands
doing
that.
so well lately, and I'm worried about it.
no, but
Way you can
it's
explain
like
to Trump that what Elon Musk did right there is
Hiroshima
normal.
and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
Right.
it's
Well, that's
clearly
great.
not
That's
something that you know,
That's right.
so it's not as scary
There
as
is
people think.
no
Basically,
way Trump believes anything Elon is saying. Elon is not
Are there
wrong.
some other topics
Elon
we
is
can touch
right.
on? You know, like
But there's
lawfare, I think,
0%
you know,
chance
Well,
Trump
we need
believes
to
it.
concern
Trump
about.
probably
what
is
they've
looking at him
done
like,
to
you
this
got
country.
3 fucking
Obviously.
eyes
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Well, we just won the big
I mean,
case in Florida. This was a Biden administration did something that's never been done in this country, and that's go after their political opponent, me, with this nonsense and just nonsense. And the big case in Florida we won, but they always pick a judge and a jury, and they use local DAs, they use the local attorney generals.
Yeah. He's like, let's move
Like
on from this
Fani, you know,
weird
Fani,
shit about you radiated plants,
F-A-N-I,
loser.
Fani. And it's
Yeah.
all a big hoax, and it's all run from there. Like in Manhattan, one of the top people from the Justice Department went in, ran Manhattan, ran the state. The Letitia James deal was run by a person from the Department of Justice, Biden. They've never done this before,
Sure.
and they set up a bad precedent. It's called lawfare, warfare. It's
Yeah.
a terrible thing, and never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries, but it's and the incredible thing is it actually drove my numbers up because people see, you know, fortunately I have a platform like you, or, you know, in all fairness, like a conversation like this where I can talk about it and people understand. I mean, you fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what happens
Yeah.
is they went after their political opponent, me. Now Biden's, you know, close to vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today on the beach, and I said, why would anybody allow him? The guy could barely walk. Why would anybody allow him? Does
Yeah.
he have a advisor that thinks this looks good? You know, he thinks this looks good because it looks so bad, and it's ridiculous. I mean, and he's been doing that
Right.
for a long time. You know, he can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces. It's meant for children and old people to lift, and he can't
Yeah.
lift it. The whole thing is
Well,
crazy.
he's clearly not, I mean, he's clearly like we just don't have a president right
You
now.
don't
That's
have a
just obviously the
president, and
case.
she's going to be worse than him because she is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco, and then as Attorney General, she
So is
destroyed
Elon.
California. You talk about location, and we're talking about the sun and the water and all. There's nothing better than California. She has destroyed that. She was the original DA. She was the original in San Francisco. She was the original Attorney General in California. What she has done to California is, well, you know better than I do. You just left California for a lot of those reasons. And what she's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. We have states there you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean,
Another fun fact, Donald Trump donated to Harris's campaign twice.
our country is becoming a very dangerous place. And she is a radical
I
left
believe a total
San
of
Francisco liberal,
$13,000.
and now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, but she wants to be more Trump than
Well,
Trump.
yeah.
I want a wall.
I think that's,
You know, she
yeah.
wants
Not
to
in
release all the
2019, no.
prisoners that are in detention, and some of these guys are really bad.
Right.
That just came
Yeah, I
out
just saw
today.
that.
She
Yeah.
doesn't want to build the wall, even though the walls work. Walls and wheels. You know, in your business, everything you do is obsolete. Almost, well, not that everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships, they're like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only thing that's not obsolete is a
For her
wall and a
Attorney
wheel.
General re-election.
And the wall, you know, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and that's why we had such good numbers. I was going to add 200
Yeah.
miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it up in 3 weeks, and they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. That meant, I said, wow, that means that they actually do want to have borders. She wants to have open borders, and now she's going like she's tough on the border. It's such a lie.
Yeah, this is simply not true.
Yeah,
This is simply
no,
not
and
true.
everybody
Yeah,
knows it's
simply
not
not
true.
true.
It's a disgrace that she.
No, I mean, obviously, what's happening sort of overnight is they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left, like far left.
Worse than Bernie Sanders. She is
Yeah.
more liberal by
Yeah,
far.
everybody hates Bernie Sanders. Keep comparing
She's a
Kamala
radical
Harris
left
to Bernie Sanders.
She's going to be
An unpopular guy.
very quickly, you're not going to have a country
Like in
anymore.
his own
And she'll
base.
go back
In
to
his
all
own
those
base,
things
an
that she
unpopular
believes in.
guy.
She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking, zero. You don't. Now all of a sudden she's
yeah.
saying, no, I will. I really want to see fracking. If they got in, the day she got in, she'll end fracking. And by the way, if people didn't that, the lunatics that really believe in that, they won't vote
Kamala
for it.
Harris wants
Like
8-minute ads at the top of the hour instead of the 3.
she is so
She's a radical. She doesn't want you to
anti-Israel, and she's bad
subscribe
both.
for
Biden actually did
$6
something
or
that
for
was
free with a Twitch
impossible.
Prime at the
Both
top of the
sides
hour.
hate him. Both sides.
Folks,
That was a hard thing to do. Unification.
subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime.
I mean, Netanyahu came to
Or you
give
can get gifted a sub
a
you for the
joint
10 gifted
Senate and
subs.
House sitting, and I was there, and Kamala stood him up. What does that say?
I think it's highly
That's
disrespectful.
Hi.
And I say, if you're a Jewish
Hi.
person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that, is a very pro-Israel, if you vote for her, it's worse than Biden. And Biden was bad. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your
Biden was
head
bad.
examined. And you see tonight, I mean, as we're doing this, I'm seeing reports coming that they expect an attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets. Their Iron Dome, as they call it, as we all call it, but their shield that they build, that can be swamped. We'll use the term that's
yeah,
appropriate, swamped. But they
yeah.
swamp it by shooting enough missiles. You know this better than anybody. By shooting enough missiles,
Sure.
they can't defend themselves. They just obliterate the whole
Yeah.
place. And that's what some people think they're looking to do. And we have no leadership. There's no respect for the United States of America with these people.
No
And I'm
respect.
telling you,
Yeah.
she'll be worse than him because she's a believer
Yeah, no,
in
I
being
think you're right.
radical left, and he wasn't.
I think you're right. I mean, you really.
I think he meant
it's
swarming
important
the Iron
for the
Dome,
public
not
that maybe listening
swamping,
to this
but
to look at Kamala's track record, past month, and say, is that a track record you agree with? And I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is her behavior has been far left, and we're seeing just an overnight propaganda attempt to rewrite history and make it sound like Kamala's moderate when she in fact is not moderate.
Well, her
So I
her
think
running
that
mate approved, signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms. Okay, now
Yeah,
that's all
that's
I have
weird.
to hear. Tampons in
That's
boys'
weird.
bathrooms, and that means she
Yeah,
believes in that too. I mean,
yeah, that's
she
not
picked
a
this guy because he was the closest to her. A lot of people thought she'd pick sort of the opposite, but she picked an anti-Israel radical left person. He is far worse, they say, than Bernie Sanders. If we have her as a president, if we have a Democrat at this moment as a president, I don't think our country can survive.
I think it's a massive. I think we're in massive trouble, frankly, with the Kamala administration, and that's my honest opinion. And I think really it's essential that for the good of the country, for this election. And I mean I'm just stating my opinion. Now you're reading this, but I got a letter from the commission saying to not have disinformation during this discussion that we're having and there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans from other and what do you think about that?
I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States in trade, as you know.
he knows it very well.
Through a different form, NATO, we protect them. And yet, if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with our farmers. Our farmers find it very difficult to do business. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion, which people don't know. It's so nice, the European Union, but let me tell you, they're not as tough as China, but they're bad. And I let them know it. And that's probably why they notified you. No, they don't treat our country well. We defend them. Ukraine. So we're in for 250 billion, and they're in for about 71 billion, and they have the same size. If you add up the European nations that in terms of an economy, it's about the same size. Wouldn't you say as us? And they're in, and they're in much greater risk. They
Bro,
right there.
what is an Italian supposed to do in those fucking crowded city streets with a goddamn American tank?
Let's assume they're close enough.
Like, you're gonna get mad at that.
For 70-something million, I think I think even less than that.
Like their
billion.
roads are not even
And we're
fucking
in
equipped.
for about 250
Motherfuckers are driving
billion,
on
and it could
roads
be a lot
built in
higher
like
than
the
that.
4th
And I
century.
say, why aren't you going to equalize? Why aren't they? We're paying, and they're in much more. You know, it's much more important for them because of the fact that they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not, but they should. They should. And I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO, out of 28 at the time, and the United States was
Yeah.
The United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I said, I went in and said, you got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I had to heat. But you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in, and
Yeah. I think a lot of the public isn't aware of the fact that the United States pays a disproportionate share of the NATO expenses.
and then we get
Even though,
taken
like,
advantage of on trade. So think about it.
well,
They
NATO is
called
defending Europe,
the
and
EU's calls for no disinformation being spread in this interview, censorship.
why is the United States paying disproportionately more than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair, and that isn't appropriate.
Elon, you're a defense contractor. You know exactly
when you talk
why.
about cost cutting and savings and everything else. I mean, honestly, look, there's nobody that feels worse about the Ukraine situation than
Like,
I do,
why
because
is
I know
America
what's never
paying for
happened.
Starlink to
I know
be
Linsky,
deployed in
He was very
Ukraine?
honorable to me, because when they
I
went with the
wonder.
Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it was a very nice phone call. I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these people are lunatics. I was talking about the difference from the people within and the enemies on the outside. In many cases, the people from within are more dangerous for our country than the Russias and the Chinas. If you have a smart president, you're not going to have a problem with them. You're going to do things.
Yeah.
Now, they've taken advantage
Yeah,
of us
absolutely.
incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly, with with false attacks.
Donald Trump literally said he would down newspapers that wrote about him critically.
Inhibit their freedom of speech.
He also did not. He also greatly accelerated the Julian Assange proceedings and tried to prosecute him on
Get the word out.
charges.
Although sometimes it's hard because they don't want
Like,
to print it.
I don't like Joe Biden. I hate him. I said I wouldn't vote for him. Julian Assange was freed under the Brandon regime.
She's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to talk about it. I mean, he couldn't have this conversation. He would have given up on the first half of a question. He would have walked out. He would have said, where am I? Where am I going? So anyway, but no, he wouldn't have this.
That's true.
Not a lot of people would have this conversation, but we cover a lot of territory. But the beauty is that we can have a conversation, and I'm able to get it out without, because I get treated unfairly.
This is a really big point. You can actually have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
And can't have a conversation with Biden or Kamala. It's like it's not possible.
I like that they try to loop Kamala Harris and Biden into the same category. Like they're both mentally fucking decrepit.
Or person who's unbelievably sharp in order to stop all the nuclear dangers.
I think Kamala Harris is capable of having a conversation.
And I got along with all these. I got along with Kim Jong-un. We had dinner. We had everything. And he really liked me, and I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. A lot of people said, oh, do you think he really?
That's for
Let
sure.
me tell you, I saw things that you don't want to know about. He is the boss.
Wait,
but
what?
We had a good relationship. And he doesn't like Biden. He considers him a stupid man, he said. He's a stupid man. Well, at least he speaks his mind. But, in this country, you're not sort of allowed to say it.
I don't get it. Shouldn't Americans hate that? I mean, I don't, but
we need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine? Now, Chairman Xi very well. Can you imagine her and him negotiating, or
put some respect on
even
my
standing together? It is, the whole concept is ridiculous. She is terrible. She's terrible. But she's getting a free ride. I saw a picture of her on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was drawing.
The chairman.
And actually, she looked like our great first lady, Melania.
No. Get back to Glazing G. Come on.
She didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
Oh.
Yeah, well, maybe it's like it's part of what people in America want to. People in America want to feel excited and
Oh,
inspired about the future. Want to
weird.
feel like the
It's
future is
true.
That's
going to be better
weird.
than the past,
It's a
and that
weird
that
thing, bro.
America's going to do things that are greater than we've done in the past, reach
Right.
new
I gotta say,
heights,
this also
and
further
make you
proves
proud to be
that
an
Trump
American
is zesty and also
and excited about the
ace a
future.
romantic.
They want the
And
Like he
American dream
appreciates
back.
the aesthetics
You know,
of
they
Kamala
want the
Harris. I
American dream
swear to
back
God,
more important than
it's
anything
not
else.
even like a horny way of
It's
saying
like
it.
you don't have that today because the people, they've been just sucked. They see incompetent people running our, you know, the Biden thing is very interesting. People just found him to
Trump,
be
my bisexual
incompetent.
ace, a
And when I
romantic king.
debated him, I was like, is this for real? It was
Yeah, it was just absurd. But I think there are like some grand projects that we could do. I mean, I think like we could build a base on the moon. We could send American astronauts to Mars. We
right.
could build high
Yep.
connections that are more than anything else in the world between our cities, so people have transport.
Bro, you
Um,
literally fucked that
it's
up.
possible to solve
If he
traffic
says
with
boring
tunnels.
That's
tunnels,
right.
I'm gonna
We've
I'm gonna
already
put
made
myself in a
great
boring
progress in
tunnel.
Vegas doing that, and
It was an
and
abject
just do
failure.
things that are exciting and inspiring and make the future feel like it's better than the past.
Well, I saw
And
what you did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing.
Other than
I
raping
got to
people,
see,
Trump ain't
I
bad.
took a big
For
glimpse
the
at it,
record,
and it's,
rape is not about
it's
sexual
incredible.
desire
And you
or
could do
sexual
that all over. You
gratification.
could do that all
It's
over.
about it's about
It's deep.
yeah,
You don't even need
enforcing your
much
power
structure,
over someone
assuming
else.
you're in the right areas.
no,
It's
it's
about
straightforward.
It's
domination.
amazing.
So like I think we could do some things that like China's got incredible high speed rail between its cities, but
So
I
my
think it's
point still
actually
stands on
possible
the ace a romantic.
with tunnels if with the regulation with an ability to where it's like legal to actually do the tunnels, then you could have high speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world for high speed transport between cities,
Bro
and
literally
that would be
cooked high
something
speed
that
rail in California
Americans can say,
with the
wow,
bar with
okay,
the
we've got
fucking
something that's cooler
boring
than
tunnel bullshit.
anyone else in the
Yeah.
world. That's the kind of thing that makes you proud to be an
And
American.
much safer than surface trains where there is a danger there, with people, with crazy
Yeah,
people. It's much safer, much better. And, it's sad. I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating. And I've seen the systems and how they work,
Charge
and
you
the
to the
bullet trains, I guess. And
yeah,
they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even close. And
yeah,
it doesn't make sense that we don't. Doesn't make sense.
yeah. And I think also like there's I'm kind of hopping on the excess regulation, but I think something that um like I think people can generally understand is that what happens with laws and regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process to clean them up, eventually everything becomes
You're right.
illegal, and that actually it slows down the development of new technologies. I mean, if you take the sort of like I think there's room for some reform at the FDA
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
improving the speed with which we approve drugs that could help save lives and improve people's
Yeah.
lives. And
I worked very hard
and
on that. We got that down
yeah,
to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But
I
I
thought that
took
that was
them
a
on. I don't
failure.
think they like me too much, but I
That
got things approved in the
didn't they
FDA
shut that
at,
down?
at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And it's a very bureaucratic group. It's a fine group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them, but I was pushing them really hard for Regeneron, for so many different things that were
He's
really
not talking about
pretty
the vaccine
amazing.
rollout.
But
He's
the
talking about the
FDA
other thing that he
takes too
did,
long.
the right to
It's
try.
12 years to get a product approved. I got it down to 4, and I
yeah,
got some things done very quickly. But it's really something that is going to have to be worked on because it takes too long. Just takes too long.
yeah. It just takes too long, and it's you end up in the same with the approval, but it's just it takes years instead of something that
Yeah.
months, that improves people's lives. I
Yeah.
think but I just wanted to hop on this point that like there has to be an active process for reducing regulations, because otherwise they just keep like, every year, and
Yep.
you get like hardening of the arteries, and eventually everything's illegal or takes forever, and then we just ossify as a society. We can't make any
Yeah.
progress, and that's it's a really big
Well,
deal.
Elon, just
So
getting back to the called right to try. This is where you go in, and if you're terminally ill,
I told you,
can
he's
use
talking
a
about right to
space-age,
try.
medicine or whatever it may be. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world. We really do. But people would go to other countries because you couldn't use the product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved
Yeah.
where you can,
Yeah.
you basically, you look, nobody wanted, the doctors didn't want it because of the liability. The country didn't want it, our country, because they didn't want to get sued. These are people terminally ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and the pharmaceutical companies, nobody wanted it. I got everybody into a room, and we came up with an agreement that you won't get sued. And also, they didn't want it on their record. If somebody's terminally ill and they die after taking a drug, they didn't want that on their record. So we set a separate list. If somebody was, so it wouldn't count as a negative.
Yeah.
Okay. And
It's kind of crazy that
we have saved right to try. They've been
Donald Trump is talking about right to try with a guy who has this Neuralink shit.
It sounds simple, but it wasn't. Because
It sounds fucking insane.
the insurance
But Elon Musk is a
companies,
real
nobody wanted it.
supervillain when you
Got
think
it
about
done.
it.
Sure.
Somebody signed.
Like, this motherfucker actually wants to chip people's brains, and all the right wingers that talk about how Bill Gates wanted to chip people with vaccines love
We
him.
got it done, and we're saving tens of thousands.
There's
of
perhaps
lives
no better
right to
demonstration
try.
of fucking
Hopefully
cognitive
you never
dissonance than a
need it.
fucking billionaire
But if you do,
sociopath
you don't
trying
have
to
travel
literally
to
chip
Asia.
people's
You know,
brains,
people, if they
talking
have
to another
money, they go to
billionaire
Asia.
former
They go to
president
Europe.
about how,
If they don't have
yeah,
money,
we
they go
shouldn't
home
have
and
more
die. That's what
regulation in the
happens. They go
medicine
home
field.
and die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and actually, to give Europe some props here, it's like if a drug is approved in Europe, which has a crazy amount of regulations, it should obviously be approved in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, they got more regulations than we do. So why would a drug be approved in Europe and not in the U.S.? That's crazy.
Well, we did it. We did something that really, they've been trying to do it for 50 years, and they
Yeah,
just
why
couldn't
would a
get it
drug
done.
be approved in
And
the
it's
EU
really
but not
something.
the
But you're
US?
right.
Think about
Some
it,
people
Elon.
go to Europe, isn't approved here, but it's approved in Europe, and it's a drug that generally
Money,
speaking, would work.
money,
It's pretty crazy.
money.
Absolutely.
You're right.
And I think so people are properly informed of the
Money.
pros and cons, and like these are the risks. These are this is the risk, and like you make your own decision. It makes sense.
Well, I think just,
So
in sort of closing up, and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get
yeah,
nervous because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away. How many?
60
What is the
million?
number? Wow. What is it?
Someone corrected him and
well,
said,
Wow.
I think in
Wow,
terms of people that
that's bigger than you said. You said 25, and you're much more than double that number, 25 million. I think you're going to be 60 or 70, and I guess over a period of time. Hey, I could get paid for.
that's funny. That was
well,
good. That was a good one.
I think actually in terms of the number of people that will hear this conversation over the next few days to
Right.
weeks, it's going to be hundreds.
That's
of
what they
millions.
say. Yeah, that's good. Well, look, it's an
Yeah.
honor. Yeah, I just asked this: are you better off now, or were you better off when I was president? Nobody's better off now. People, we put out polls on that, and nobody's better off now. Inflation has killed it. And, they also feel very unsafe. You look at what's going on with a lot of different things. You look at the riots we had at the
Yeah.
colleges I mean, it's ridiculous, but
Right.
all of the riots, they just feel unsafe. And now they really feel unsafe because you have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant
yeah.
crime. Maybe I'll call it
Well,
Kamala migrant crime. But
I mean, with all these things, I always try to get
What?
to the ground truth by just asking people. And my mom lives in New York, and I was like, Mom, do have any of your friends, been attacked or assaulted? And she said, yeah, 3 of her friends in 3 separate
Crazy.
incidents were assaulted just in recent months, just walking around the streets in New York.
For being
And
white.
I said, well, what happened to the people that assaulted them? Oh, nothing. They got away. And they just know
always
that
way.
nothing's gonna. And they don't even bother
The
reporting
migrants,
it because
they're so much
there's not
better.
they
The
get
Sultan
prosecuted.
run away.
They just let violent criminals out of New York.
the only one
thorough-
that is Donald
Why are
Trump.
you
They don't
laughing?
They prosecute Trump.
Yeah, I mean
Stupid.
it's just obviously messed up.
Oh, it's terrible.
If violent criminals are getting
This is
off
the
scot-free.
dumbest. It's like two fucking
meanwhile,
dumb bitches having this conversation back and
massive
forth.
resources
The fuck do
prosecuting
you mean, dude?
It's like what's this? And
What am I supposed to do? Take him seriously? The fuck? It's a clown
public
show.
looks at this and says, "What the heck's going on here? This is obviously abuse of the legal system." The legal system is supposed to be protect the public from violent criminals, and it should be obviously allowing the public to make their own decision about who should be president, as opposed to some legal case.
Once they start the precedent, because this can go on with the next one. I mean, this is a very bad precedent what they're doing in terms of going after their political opponent, and that's all it is. It's going after their political opponent,
Yeah.
and then you get a judge who's a strong Democrat, and I'm being nice when I say that. In many cases, crooked as hell. But you get a judge, and you go into an area where a Republican gets 3 or 4% of the vote, and you'll have a jury pool
Yeah.
with people that hate Republicans or hate. It could
Sure.
also be the other way, though,
Of course.
because
Really
it could
fucked
start
up.
the other way in areas where they hate Democrats,
Exactly.
and you get into a
Yep.
Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing for this country, and a very dangerous thing even for the state. New York City is
Yep.
losing. New York
Absolutely.
City and state lose a lot of business over what they did to me, because these people say, we don't want that to happen to us. That's no justice system. You have an unfair system of
Yes.
justice, and it's costing New York State money. People are leaving and companies are leaving, and they won't come back. So, all of that stuff is important. But the economy now is the big thing, and we can turn that economy up so fast, and people are going to be back again. We're going to get rid of
Yeah. I think
inflation.
there's a lot of
Right.
opportunity. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
And I just
I
want to
think
congratulate you. You've done an amazing job. You have definitely got a fertile mind. We can talk. You and I can talk about rockets
let's
and
get to
tunnels. We can talk about tunnels and rockets and electric cars. So many things. And now you're AI, and that's going to be another beauty. I'll say.
yeah.
It's an amazing thing you've done, Elon. It's an amazing thing, and I
Well,
congratulate you.
I mean, thank you. And well, I mean, I just say here, here's to an exciting, inspiring future that people can look forward to and be optimistic and about what happens next. And that's the kind of future that I think you will bring as president, and that's why I endorse you.
Well, I appreciate that. That endorsement meant a lot to me. Not all endorsements mean that much, to be honest. Your endorsement
Like
meant a
that
lot.
Aiden Ross endorsement. That didn't mean shit.
Make America great again. It's pretty simple, but it really says that we want to make America great again, and we can do it. We can do it now, but if we were going to suffer another 4 years like we've suffered for the last 4 years, I'm not sure the country can ever come back. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. We have to do a lot
I
of
think that's a
things.
very real
Yeah,
risk.
it's a big
That's a
risk.
very real risk.
Yeah.
And it's I'd just like to note to people listening, like I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I've
What?
actually been.
Bro, you're
I'm
a
not
billionaire.
so they try to paint me as like a far right, which is absurd because I'm like electric vehicles and.
You are literally a
so
Nazi,
about
bro. You literally retweet
And,
Nazi on a basis you follow
I,
Nazis on the website. You've turned this website into a Nazi shithole.
For 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president, and so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed-in-the-wool long-term
Oh my God.
Republican. I'd call myself,
Bro said Henry Ford. I'm just like Henry Ford. I just want to make vehicles. It's so weird that they're calling me a Nazi for the pamphlets that I'm writing and disseminating.
I think a lot of people thought, the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not. And obviously, we were just going to see an even further left administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I mean, her dad is literally. She was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. You can
True.
Google it. I mean, it's not a. We're not making this up.
Put respect to Donald Harris.
That's how she was brought up. So, and we want to have a future that is prosperous, and I think we're just critical juncture.
I love these guys trying to like. Trying to still do this narrative where they're like, I'm just a moderate.
America,
bro, you're actually fucking responsible for every rape that's ever happened in England and should be purged violently. Today, he's like, I'm just a moderate. Why are you calling me a far-right figurehead?
I'm gonna get attacked.
I love every time one of these fucking dumbass losers unmasks themselves because it's always I told you so moment.
I haven't been really active.
You are interviewing Donald Trump, dude. You're interviewing Donald Trump. What do you mean you're fucking moderate?
Moderate, if not moderate.
You cannot be moderate and
so
suck
this is
Donald
people out
Trump's
there who are in
cock
the
at the
moderate
same
camp
time.
to
You're like,
say, I think you
I'm a
should support
moderate.
Donald Trump for president. And I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if they don't.
You can't endorse
if it goes the
Donald
other
Trump
way.
and be like, I'm a moderate. Why are people saying I'm far
I
right?
actually always did think of you somewhat left. I must say that. So it's
Yeah.
even more of an
Well,
honor to have your endorsement. I know how strong you feel about it. But when you think of her, San Francisco, 15 years ago, I had a great friend, Bob Tish. He said it's the greatest city in America, and now it's not. It's almost not livable there. and California likewise. And she was involved in the destruction of San Francisco and the destruction of California. And she will be involved in the destruction of our country if people are so unwise as to elect her. And I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope the elections are going to be run honestly. And we're going to turn
If
this
I had a
country
nickel for every
around.
car
We're
maker who
gonna
made a
do
Model T
things
and
that-
hates the
and we can
Jews,
do
I'd
it
have 2
fairly
nickels,
quickly.
which isn't
And
much, but
we
it's
have to
weird it
get rid
happened
of the
twice.
criminals that have
Exactly.
been, given to us by other countries as they laugh.
It's
They
so
laugh
weird.
at us. They think we're stupid.
It's so
to
weird how
accept
that
these people.
happened.
These are radical, stone cold
Welcome
killers
back,
in many
Henry Ford.
cases, and terrorists. And they're in our country by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
And we have to take
yeah,
them out.
yeah. I mean, if you could summarize it, perhaps, I think these are issues that I think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders, we want sensible government spending, we want to restore both the perception and reality of respect in the judicial system, just stop the lawfare, and I think that's like, and how are those even right wing positions? I think those are just that's just common sense, and that's I mean, would you?
100%. I don't understand, the whole, they
He
call it
doesn't
progressive.
understand
They
it.
don't
Why
like the
are
word
people
liberal
calling
anymore,
him?
but
Only said to
liberal or
abolish the
progressive.
Department of
I don't
Education.
understand how somebody
Why are
could
people
say that
saying
it's
he's
safe for
crazy?
them to end prisons into our country.
Yeah.
And again, I told you, the
Why are
crime
people
rates
saying
all
I'm
over the
crazy?
world
I
are
was
way down.
hallucinating this like massive plot from Latin American governments.
Something happens with this election, which would be a horror show.
Why are people saying I'm
We'll
crazy
meet the
for
next
this?
time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country. Okay, so we'll go. You and I will go.
Why are
and we'll
people
have a
saying I'm
meeting and dinner
crazy?
in
I'm only
Venezuela,
hallucinating
because
that
that's what's happening. Their
millions
crime
of
rate's coming
Venezuelans
down,
have
and
been
our
dumped
crime
out of
rate's going
Venezuelan
through the
prisons to
roof,
come
and
do
it's so
America
simple.
rapes.
And you haven't seen anything yet.
So
Because
this is a
these
normal
people
position.
have come into our country and they're just getting acclimated, and they don't know about being politically correct law enforcement or lack of law enforcement. And our police, I have to just end
He's
with
like, I
this.
just
We
want
have
to do
great
concentration camps, bro.
police.
It's
We have great law
fine.
enforcement, but they're not
Chill.
allowed to do their job. They have to be able to do their
Yeah.
job without being destroyed.
Well, absolutely, and it's obviously demoralizing if you're a police officer risking your life to arrest violent criminals who could kill you and do kill you sometimes.
This
And
this
then
makes me
you
blow a
arrest the violent
gasket, bro.
criminal,
The
and
fucking
then
fact that we're just like
DA,
the most pampered babies on the
doesn't
planet
prosecute,
are the
and then they just
American
let the
police
guy off.
departments,
Well, like,
okay?
why-
Oh,
why
they can't just on
their
respecting
life,
them enough? We already give them multiple billions,
arrest
dude.
a
What the
violent
fuck are
felon.
you
Well, even
talking
worse,
about?
That's going to happen.
Even worse, they
We
prosecute
need to double
the
suck
police
them. We need to
officer.
double suck them. Every time you see a cop,
They
you
go
have
after
to
a-
suck
and
them.
they
You
prosecute
literally
the
have to get
police
down on your
officer.
hands
They
and
take
knees and
away
go,
his
thank you,
pension.
sir.
They
Thank you
take
for
away his
everything you
job.
do.
He loses his family. He loses his house.
Well, I thought it was very telling, like incredibly telling, that when there was that case where sort of a gang of thugs beat up police officers. I think it was in Times
Yep.
Square in New York, and and then nothing happened to those guys. They were let out, zero bail, and I think a bunch of them were given free tickets to
Oh my
California.
God, I can't believe they're still talking
Well,
about
what is-
this. Bro,
I
the
mean,
cops
that is-
fucking attacked them.
That is a gross
They weren't even
indignity
doing
for the
anything.
United
That
States,
shit was
and
fake outrage.
that's how-
What the fuck
I
are you
mean,
talking
this
about?
is insane. Like, have we lost all pride?
What are they
What-
supposed to do? Arrest them
how
for
can
doing
such a thing
nothing?
be
Like,
allowed
what
to
the
occur?
fuck?
Never seen
My
it.
brother
We
is a
see
cop, but
where they
okay.
get
Bring him
shot.
over. I'll
It's a
suck
very
his cock,
dangerous
dude.
Profession, but
Bring your
something
brother
they're
over
very
here.
proud
I
of,
will
and they won't
suck
be able
his
to do
dick, dude. I'll
different.
suck the soul
I've
out of his
seen them
dick,
shot, I've
okay?
seen a lot of things. But I've never seen where these guys are standing in the middle of a big street, everybody watching them, and they're literally
Bring him over
boxing,
here.
like punching, stand-up fighting. A police officer, there were two of them, and you
Yeah.
had about six
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
guys, and they're punching the hell out of them. And in their own country, they would be dead if they did that. They'd be shot.
Yes.
They would be shot instantly. And they come from these countries, and it's taking them a while to realize that we don't do that in this country. But in their own country,
Yeah.
if they stood on a street and had a fight with a police officer, they would be shot. There's no political correctness, and it's such a sad,
Yeah, it's
it's
just
such a sad thing to see. And that's the reason you have crime, by the way,
yeah.
because we don't do anything about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we
Crime
just
is
cannot have
down.
a situation
Historic
where our
lows.
police officers are
That's the reason
beaten
why
up by
crime is down.
a gang
Historic
of illegal
lows.
immigrants,
Like
and then nothing happens
unimaginable
to
fucking percentages.
the guys that
Homicide was the
beat
only
up
thing
the
that was
cops.
up.
I mean,
And
and
even
they're
that
let
is
out.
down by like
This is
40% in Philadelphia.
Well, we're
unacceptable.
going to change it, and we're going to get them out of the country. When I first got involved, they said you couldn't get them back to these countries. You couldn't take them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, some others, you couldn't get him back. And I said, really? Oh, you can't get him back? Because under Obama, he couldn't get him back. They'd fly him in, and they'd put planes on the runways in these countries so you couldn't land a plane. They'd bring him back. And the generals told me, sir, we can't bring him back. The countries won't accept MS-13 gang members. They won't accept him. And I said, really, how much do we pay these various countries in terms of economic aid, which is also somewhat ridiculous? And the answer was
Guys, this is
$750
fake news,
million.
dude.
I said, good. Tell them they're in default.
The FBI is
They're
woke
delinquent.
and
We're not
gay.
going to we're not paying them anymore because they won't accept
Yeah,
it.
it's
And you know what
The
happened?
FBI crime stats are both woke and
We
gay.
would be
Don't you
honored
know?
to take them back, sir. We would be honored. It was
Just
so
like
easy.
when I,
But it's one of
just
those
like when I
things that
use
we
Department
gotta-
of
we
Homeland
think it's
Security
so, but,
data to talk about fucking like immigrant apprehensions or CBP data for migrant crimes.
Thousands
It's
and got
fake.
them out of here, and their countries
Data
took
is
them
fake.
back.
If
And
you look at the
because I
numbers,
said
you're a
we're not
nerd.
getting any
You're a
more
loser.
economic aid.
You must be a
And once
libtard.
I said that, they
What
were-
matters is
they
vibes and
wouldn't take
fear
them
and
back for
panic.
Obama.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take them back for anybody. And now we have a problem because we have this guy, and they don't take him back anymore with Biden because they don't respect him.
Yeah. It's just gotta be done. We just can't have, whether they're citizens or not citizens. We can't have, because they won't prosecute citizens either. Not just illegals. So if it's you can't have violent, repeat violent offenders that are not that don't get incarcerated.
That's right.
Because they will obviously.
Bro is so horny to be racist. He can't even get his words out, dude.
continue
Oh my God,
to
Elon.
people. And I think part of
The
this comes from is
immigrant
that there's
crime.
I don't consider myself liberal in some ways. I mean, it's just that you want to have empathy for
Right.
people. Obviously, you want to have empathy for people. I totally agree with that. You want to have empathy, but
you
you also
can't.
have to have empathy for the victims of the criminals. And if you just have empathy for the criminals, it's actually empathy. It's not real. You're not thinking. You're one layer deep.
That's the thing that Americans
empathy.
have
You
too
gotta say,
much
like,
of.
what-
Empathy
if
for
you don't
criminals.
incarcerate this person, who are they going to?
What are you saying, bro?
Or they kill someone, they might rape someone. If you don't incarcerate them, you have to have empathy for
We
the
have the
victims.
highest percentage.
And there's
We
a
have the
lack
highest
of
prisoner
empathy for the
density per
victims of
capita
the
on the
criminals,
planet.
and
Okay.
too much empathy for the criminals.
25%
It
of the
doesn't make
entire
sense.
planet's
That's
incarcerated
why you want to
is in
have
the United States of
deep
America.
empathy
We make
for
up
society
4%
as a
of the
whole,
entire planet's
not
population.
shallow empathy for criminals.
Ridiculous.
And we have to give our
We
police
imprison
officers the
so
dignity
much.
and the respect that they deserve. And we have to let them do their job. They can do a great job.
I love the
but we
idea
have
that
to let them
policing
do
is
their job.
shitty
And
in
if
this
we don't
country,
do
not
that,
because they're fucking major
it's gonna
babies
hold-
that have
there's never
qualified
been a
immunity
society
and
like
never
this
get
where
accountability,
you're allowed
but because
to
we're not
do anything
respecting
you
them
want
enough.
and nothing
It is one of the
happens.
things
And I'm
that
talking about
frustrates me so much
violent
because
crime.
Americans
And it's
also
gonna
are
get
so
more
stupid and they
violent because
love
these
the
are
police.
really
Even though they are
violent people.
literally
And we're gonna get
so
them
bad
out
at
of
their
our
fucking
country,
jobs.
and we're
I
gonna
want
get
them to
them
do their
back to
jobs. I
where-
want them to
because they
actually
were
do their
sent
jobs.
here by
I want
the
them to solve
president
crimes.
and by
You know
the
what I mean?
various people that
That's what
run
we're
those
fucking
countries,
paying
and
them
I know
for.
every one
But
of
like
those
this
guys.
argument that
And they're
policing
smart
sucks in this
people,
country
and
now
they're streetwise
because we're
people.
not respecting them
They
enough
really
is,
think that
it blows
the
my
USA
mind.
is stupid. They think we're run by stupid people, and they happen to be right. But when I was there, we had no problem. We got them out. We took out thousands of MS-13 gang members. We brought them back. And now, again, it's the same old story. We don't do it. And they actually gave them a big increase in aid. They raised it up to billions of dollars, and they get nothing for it. So, it's. I hope everybody's going to vote for Trump, and we're going to get this country. And I didn't need this. I'm like you. I didn't need this. I had a very nice life. I didn't need to go through court systems and go through all the other stuff and run at the same time. I have to run. I have to go through fake trials with, in some cases, corrupt judges, totally corrupt judges. I didn't need it. I had a nice life. I have great locations. I have beautiful. I have places. This was, but I felt it was important. And if I had to do it over again, you probably think I'm crazy for doing it, actually. But if I had to do it over again, I would have done it over again, because this is much more than me or my life. We're going to save this country. This country is going down. And these people are bad people that we're running against, and they're liars. They make statements. They do things that are so bad. They say they're going to make a strong border. They say they've been great on the border, and they're worst in history. They say they're going to
It's
stop
horrible.
crime.
Like the facts speak for themselves. The
It's so
facts
incredible.
speak for themselves. Like it's gotten to the point where people just don't even bother reporting crime in a lot of
That's
cities
right.
because they know nothing is going to happen. That's what I hear anecdotally from people all the time. So, it's just, my values, I'm just saying to people out there, like the things I think are important for the future is like, we've got to have safe
He's so
cities,
fucking unbearable, dude. He is like, he's all of his juice. He's lost all of his sauce.
We've got to have
He's just like such a fucking old,
so we can
angry
have a prosperous
man.
future,
And
then
now
we
he has a
want to have some
lisp
exciting,
somehow. I don't know what happened
sort of
there.
moonshot projects that people
He's just
get
fucking
fired up about.
unbearable.
And that's the future I'm looking for. And I'm pro-environment.
It's great though, because I feel like everything that Trump touches is so toxic.
I don't think we should vilify
Hopefully
oil
this
and
will
gas
cause a lot of these like
they're keeping
holdout
civilization
centrist
going.
liberals who think Elon is fucking brilliant.
But I do think we
He definitely is
a
not.
reasonable speed towards a sustainable energy economy. Those are my values, and I think, and so I mean that's why I'm supporting you for president.
Well, I appreciate it. We're going to give incentive to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be tremendous incentives. We want to build here, not to build in other locations, and we want to create jobs. And again, it's about the American dream. You don't.
Something I'm fairly concerned about is Elon will 100% use his platform to call the elections a fraud when Trump loses and/or rig the election beforehand. Yeah, no, the fuck, he can't do that.
People, they need that incentive.
Bro, in order for him to be able to rig the fucking elections by significant margins, he would need the platform to be able to function. He would need to be able to bring like actual liberals and normal people back onto the platform. Twitter's revenue has dropped 84%. Its user base has dropped significantly since Elon's takeover. There's no, like, he's running it into the fucking ground.
Did so much, but I also learned the best people. I learned the good people, the smart people, the dumb people, the people that can do things, the people, you learn. When I first came in, I tell people I was in Washington, D.C. only 17 times, according to the fake news media. I was in 17 times. I never stayed over. And you don't know people. You rely on other people to give you names, and then you realize the people you relied on weren't so good. Now, we're great people, but we also had some where I wouldn't have, used them had I known. Now I know everybody. And I think we're going to really turn things around fast. We have no choice.
Everything Trump says Biden did to America, Elon has actually done to Twitter. It's also what Trump wants to do to America. This is why I always use the example like done to Twitter is a perfect what right-wingers do in general. Like, Twitter sucked. It was run by a liberal, but at least it worked. You know what I mean? It sucked. There was a lot of issues, but at least it fucking worked. It wasn't like a Nazi-infested shithole where like pedophiles were posting CSAM and then like the fucking billionaire baby who was a rabid sociopathic Nazi wasn't personally restoring the accounts of like dudes who were distributing CSAM, child sexual abuse material. Like, that's what he did. That's what Elon Musk did. So that's the difference. Like, yeah, Democrats suck. Ultimately, there's like a basic level of competency that they demonstrate. They keep the fucking federal agencies going. Republicans come in and they just destroy everything.
And it's been really fun, and I hope you got a lot of viewers. I hear you got a lot.
Let us hear them talk, please, bro. They're saying goodbye to each other,
I know
lovers.
you got a lot of them. So
who can't hang up the fucking phone first for the past 25 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. I'm still in the space. Let's see if anything else happens. They kept doing, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Thank you, Elon. One man's weakness, another man's strength. That the person who finally says "fuck it, no" borders is absolutely strongest because of the inevitable backlash. Yeah, no mention of JD Vance, by the way. That was crazy. I could hear Trump's fat ass clapping on the phone, dude. I think there's something very funny about the cognitive dissonance that right wingers display on a regular basis, where they talk about like fucking elites, right, bi-coastal elites, but then they love Donald Trump. They think he's like the greatest gift of all time to the average everyday working man. They also literally keep talking about like big pharma and how devastating that is and how fucking scary like big billionaire elites, society elites are. But then they glaze Elon Musk. Elon Musk is literally trying to put a chip in your fucking brain, dude. And honestly, you kind of deserve it. Like, you deserve to live in the Elon Musk dystopia where your brain is goddamn chipped by him. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me that this fucking dude is like such a villain, if not for his like glaringly obvious incompetence, is not seen by the broader public of his sycophants as like an actual villain.